Getting core inflation here for December. Inflation data across the board just coming in 0.2% on the month-over-month number. Prior 0.3%. We were expecting on a monthly basis 0.2%. Overall, inflation rate year over year to the upside ever so slightly in line with expectations. 2.9% comes out exactly 2.9%. The inflation rate month to month, December, 0.4% versus 0.3% expected there. So more or less in line with expectations, a little bit higher on the monthly print. Core inflation, 3.2% versus 3.3% expected. That's down slightly from the prior. So that has futures going both ways. Initially downside, we're back to the upside now for the overall market. When you start talking about a tenth here, a tenth there, a tenth on the month, the tenth on the year, it's hard to judge as far as what is what. There's the overall market now, 1.27% to the upside in a big way. For the NASDAQ specifically, again, if you missed it, CPI 0.4% month over month, the expectation 0.4%. The core 0.2%, expected 0.3%. So core goes to the downside, but overall, core also downside 3.2% year over year versus 3.3% year over year. That explains the big move in the market here to the upside. Good morning.
Good morning, Brendo. Welcome back.
Yeah.
We got a pop yesterday on PPI, and it ended up selling off the entire day. So we'll have to watch how today goes, but up nicely here above 21.2. Yeah, it was interesting. I was worried a little bit about the headline number because we saw Biden impose new sanctions on Russia, and that increased the price of the barrel. If anybody's been watching oil lately, I think we're trading at $77 right now for the WTI. So I was kind of concerned that that could filter into CPI. It hasn't yet.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it won't in the later part of the
Yeah, no, true. I mean, everyone's talking tariffs too and the effect that those are going to bring. Obviously, this is a delayed number going back to December, so no tariffs in December, but we'll see how things play out here. Again, if you missed it, the year-over-year number downside by a tenth on both the, or on the core side of things on the year-over-year and month-over-month. So nice look here for the market, guys.
Yeah, so much for
back-to-back jacks.
So much for bank earnings leading the way today. Yeah, I guess they're going to go to the side burner for a quick little second. Tesla, wow.
Tech will lead this whole.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, don't get me wrong, Goldman Sachs had an unbelievable quarter. It's just, it's not going. It might not matter with the moves that we're seeing, but Bitcoin 98.5, I just checked, and 400 to 410 on Tesla, as we just saw. I just heard some news on nanonuclear. Well, Robinhood. Oh my goodness, Robinhood. Okay, so that Robinhood 52-week high break, like, seriously? This was $1.70 under that 52-week high. It's pretty much there right now. One note on this, there's an all-time high just above this on Robinhood, but what an unbelievable rally we've seen. On what, I mean, it's kind of both ways. Yeah, on the number, but
like, I don't know, it's only 0.1 difference, but hey,
seems like a big reaction. But
yeah, it's a cooler number. I thought it would be hotter, so I mean, there it is, cooler number. We see a nice number yesterday from the PPI as well. Welcome everybody to the show one more time. Tesla 412, wow. What? Tesla up 4% and just absolutely rip city. My sticky note's going to say, oh, if we get a 401.50 break, we like that. So there it goes right there. There's my 401.50 break, but we don't take anything on these numbers. And then Nvidia as well. We have a completely different bias today. We were every single idea. This is before the CPI, but every single idea on here is long. So you know, would have been nice to get in earlier. But right now, there goes Nvidia. I really liked, that's the wrong chart, but it's the right level too. There goes Nvidia right there. I really like the 133 break again, but today, a little bit of a different day. We'll have to wait for some pullbacks as the market gets really jacked up here. I mean, like Brendan mentioned there, 3.2 year over year versus 3.3, and the market does this, up 1.5%, billions and billions and billions of dollars added to the value of the market here in the last 4 minutes on a 0.1 beat. So very, very interesting. A lot of money on the sidelines here. And oh boy, is Alex Karp just chilling out right now as there goes Palantir. That's up 4%. We just said, like, tech is going to lead the way. A lot of these beat up names. You got Nvidia up 4%, Tesla up 4%, Palantir now up 4%. What is Meta doing right now? 606, probably up 2% or so. Yeah, 2% there for Meta. So that's a nice move. That was pretty good math. Nice move up there for Meta as well. So they're all starting to, you know, get a little excited. And we didn't even, Neil dropped JP Morgan's name there, and we will talk about them.
What a nothing burger.
But today here, Apple and the rest of them, it's the big tech, the big aggressive tech plays leading the way right now.
Don't forget all the crypto adjacent names as well, because if we do crack, look, we're probably not that far away from like a 100,000 right now. We just got to 98.6 and pulled back on Bitcoin. And I showed Robinhood because that was going absolutely nuts. But, you know, don't forget all of the other adjacent names. And this is what happens. You know, I just looked over, I'm like, yeah, 42.25 on Robinhood. That's not happening again. MSTR, like 20 bucks. MSTR bottom to top just now. So this could go into a bit of a squeezing mode. Mara, like just crypto is going to make this rally as well. So, you know, there's going to be a lot to watch. You have the you have the quantum names going again. D-Wave's up 25% as we speak. So there's going to be a lot to look at today. Kind of honed in. I mean, it's weird. Like I liked an over/under Nvidia 133, and I like the Robinhood 42.25. Moving targets. That's the best way to think about it. You have to have a moving target. If there's going to be a trend, if you like an over/under, you like the longs over those prices, but it doesn't mean I'm going to chase any tops. We've seen what happens when you do that. Let's go back to the desk. I'm surprised by this much of a reaction, but you can't help but be happy about it. You know, like it's a great move for the market.
The Bears were winning the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden it's just like bang, the market just without any doubt right there. And we've talked about this 21,000 level on the NASDAQ. So we're under there for basically 2 days, and now you go right back up to the upside. There's your 200 period moving average. So yeah, still work to be done, right? Still work to be done until we get back up to the upside. For me, fade area is now 21.4, right into here, 21.45. You know, I feel like NASDAQ being up 2% today might be a little egregious, as Neil was mentioning there. I don't think we thought this kind of a move. I sold Rigetti yesterday. Rigetti, whatever, man. We'll take 38% or whatever it was yesterday. I sold it at yesterday's close, $8.95. I told you on the recap show that we had a market on close order. That was right there that executed $8.95. And up to $10. Neil brought up QBTS. All these names starting to go once again as the market is hot fire. Let me just check out my guy SMR. So that's been a good one as well. I haven't sold anything, recently. I haven't bought anything recently. So we're sitting on more cash right now than maybe, we should have based on that last little dip. But, the NASDAQ is a thing here, and these names will go up and go down. You can't be like, Monday was such a horrible day. I can't believe my account. What have I done? And then Wednesday, you're like, oh my God, why didn't I buy the dip? You gotta do things in steps here, and calmer heads will always prevail.
And Jensen getting on board with the
6%,
getting on board with the quantum wave because they're having their quantum day in March. So he talks negative about it, and then all of a sudden they got to spend on quantum. They're just playing a little catch up in the market in the quantum wave. But good look for them. We'll see how all of the big boys are going to be at that event, like QBTS, all of them. I heard a story on NNE, but it doesn't seem like it's moving anything more than the market. I swear I heard something in my ear. I'll see if there was really anything on the nuclear names.
I just went long some Nvidia here, just very, very small, 10%, not even 5% of a position that I'll be willing to take. I like the 133. We dip into 133. We go long down here, guys. So right now we'll test and see what happens with Nvidia. But yeah, early trades, 838. Let's see what happens. NASDAQ here, nice move up. Watch that 21.4 level.
Right. A few other things moving around here this morning. Here is the 30-year. Treasury's downside on this, as expected, but big, ugly red candles coming into play now. We are bouncing a little bit right now, but what a move this has been since December, basically the beginning of December. Almost a full % to the upside for some of these Treasury yields. Finally due for maybe a little bit of a pullback here, which is obviously going to be good. For the overall market, banks reported. Guys mentioned it briefly there, but record numbers for most of these right across the board, JPM included in that. That said, the reaction to these, not really that great. I mean, here's 1% for JP Morgan. Goldman is up a little bit more now on this number, but also wasn't really doing much.
Yeah, these are eye-watering numbers, Brendo. I was talking to Neil off camera about this. I mean, let's take JPM here, for example. Profit rose 50% year over year. What kind of
IPOs are back.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, they absolutely killed it. Really good look here. Beat on the top and bottom line. Really nothing to complain about. Net interest income continues to print for them. Investment banking, as you said, revenue surged. Trading revenue jumped 15%. The only real question here is our friend Jamie Dimon. He signaled, that he might be on the way out. People positing that he might be out within 5 years with no clear succession plan there. Diamond did also talk about possible share repurchases here as the price of the stock gets a little bit higher. That'll please investors.
Wells Fargo, the other one here, even more actually, 4.6%. It actually is the highest right now, it looks like percentage-wise of all of these. Pretty good numbers. This one did have one sales actually miss. So it was 20.37 billion versus 20.58 billion expected, but whatever, 4.5%. These are all super strong today, guys.
Well, yeah. Well, JP Morgan's not super strong, I don't think. It's weird that Wells, with a slight miss, is the one that's actually going, but price doesn't lie. Remember, you got conference calls to sift through. Yeah, so just be very careful. Goldman's is right at the open, which is a heck of a lot of fun. But JP, this is the one that seems like it really wants to go. It's a bit weird to me. If you can get through 75, great. I think when you have the calls in the morning, my response is to wait them out and try to be trading after the fact. So you look at prior highs. Like for now, I'd be looking at the prior high, 72.5. I liked Goldman Sachs really blew it away. And it's a similar look where it's not at the highs. Like JP has a top wick at its high and then a pullback, whereas Goldman is a local break where you can get into the high on Goldman Sachs. So 590 is a bit of an over-under, but with the call at 930, I'd like you to calm down. We get the market move up here. If you chase, I've seen these, make a bigger move on the call than they do on the earnings in a single wick. So you got to be a little bit cautious with them. There's plenty of things to trade today without having to be like ridiculously early trying to take a shot at a Wells Fargo or Goldman Sachs. But JP Morgan kind of wicking that high, Wells and Goldman have room to their 52-week highs, which makes them a little bit more appealing to me.
Look, guys, we've been talking about JP Morgan. We've been highlighting this. I said this yesterday about how it was set up. And if you come over to the daily chart here on the 50-period moving average, you guys were asking about it in the chat, stuck my neck out a little bit and said this is the one. And so we're really happy that it's now breaking new all-time highs. So there it goes, JP Morgan. I hope some of you were on that trade. I feel like the absolute best one is. And by the way, we got some more long in Nvidia. We got some out at 134.10 there on Nvidia. So we took 20 cents. We'll wait to see if it goes much higher than that. I don't want to sell anyways. Citigroup, to me, this is the best one. And we'll go bang on that. I really like this breakout right there. Huge move to the upside. I mean, this also holds that 50-period moving average really smooth, man. Citigroup has been a huge winner this year, like absolutely monstrous. If you go back into January, $51. Now you're up to $77 and looking like we want to break that $80 mark. So I, again, really like this name. I'm not sure about pullbacks. We say that we want to play when there's a gap, play back to VWAP, and I want to thank Brian Shannon for coming on again yesterday. 76, 76.10 right there. I think those are great buy opportunities. Probably don't get into that. But remember, we were right there. Like I was about to talk about this, sticky note, all that kind of stuff, went to the upside there. So I like this 76 area for Citigroup. We may have to now pay 77. Let it settle down. Let's get it all figured out. We will probably, we're talking about these. I assume this will be again talked about when we do our rundown part. But we bought some more Nvidia there. There's the out at 134. I think it was 10s. I'm also waiting at 134.20s. So if we can get that, that'd be nice. But right now, nice little dip buy opportunities as we support that 133 area. We talked about that. We also, again, the sticky note's now out. And what we have to do is we have to play, what's up, Randy? We have to play pullbacks now because everything's gone already right now. So Nvidia, we wrote down that we like 133. So we're going to try to play back into 133 right now. So the winners don't stop. Market not open, but stocks trading like it is. So, we'll be here with Nvidia right now and hit this long and see what winds up happening. That's a bananas market move.
Well played. Well played.
We had another. The stock that I was looking at was Tesla. It just went up huge Randy, up another 4% right there, all the way up. There must be more money in the economy or something here, as CPI a little bit lower, and this goes boom. So there goes Tesla. It was my number one. It was my number one play there to break the pre-market. Yeah, nice, but to break the pre-market high, and boy, oh boy, when it did that, it took off. So there it goes, up 3.7% right now. We're in a 20-cent winner with Nvidia, but we're looking at Tesla here today. So maybe throughout the day we can get some Randy opinions on some various things, and maybe we'll have you back to discuss some things. So okay, all right, let's go back over to the desk.
Market just taking out the highs, or testing the highs right now as well. Volume kind of dying off here, but pushing 2%. You guys were talking a little bit about this quantum angle this morning. I mean, if there's an excuse for Jensen to get on stage and talk to his audience, why not? So yeah, I mean, Nvidia is going to have a quantum day. I mean, Microsoft, there was versions of this being kicked around a couple of months ago. It looks like that might come to fruition as well. But something to look forward to, I think. I mean, all of these stocks now higher, obviously, with this number. There's Nvidia itself, RGTI, taking out the highs right now through $10, up 16% so far this morning.
I was telling you off camera that despite Jensen's, conservative take on quantum, he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's investing in quantum, actively investing in quantum computing. The company's actually hiring for roles to support future integration of the quantum and classical computing systems. That's from Nvidia's side. Microsoft also doing the same thing. They plan to make their business clients quantum ready within this year, 2025. They describe the current era as the advent of reliable quantum computing. They anticipate quantum computers solving meaningful problems, obviously. So, it moved in aggressively to start the year, Brendo, but now we actually have some of the Mag 7 chiming behind this.
Which goes back to that CES talk that he gave, and just kind of in passing said it's going to be 15 years before anything's viable. And that just shows you he was being dead honest when he said that, because they are actually, as you said, investing, putting their money where their mouth is. Worth noting, IONQ with a research deal this morning with the University of Maryland and the state of Maryland as well. So 11% here for IONQ, guys.
It's good.
That's like that. IONQ is a stable one of those. Like all the other names are double the volatility. IONQ with a bit solid revenues and the better debt situation. But I'm watching Qubits today, or D-Wave, QBTS. It's right in. You had Friday's close. Friday's close price right at the $6 level. I still think there's a fade zone on this when you zoom it out a little bit further. But that's all the way up here at like $6.80. So it would have to go another 15% before I'd look at a mean reversion type trade. But the over/under, excuse me. Now that you've broken away from like this $5 bottom in here, bottom resistance, the over/under is right there at 6. So I wouldn't take this now. I definitely want to see it hold these prices into the open. And if it does play back into $5, fine. But if it gets to 680, I'm looking for a fade on this particular name. We actually have free locates on this one as well. So it just makes it a little bit easier to make a bit of a play on QBTS. All of them great volume, but I think you got to be able to pick your poison. It's not going to be short sell restricted today, so any bounce isn't going to be some SSR bounce. That would have been yesterday. So there's one level that I'm looking for a mean revert on QBTS. The 5, we'll have to throw that out the window for now. I feel like if it gets to $5, I don't want it. It does. Like if these revert their move, it's not the same thing. It's I like Nvidia at 133, so I'm sitting at the cores. There's a difference between, to me, dip buying at the original breakout price on something like Nvidia or even like a Robinhood than on the quantum names. If they come all the way back down there, I wouldn't be on the bid.
All right. We have Nvidia on board right now. It's 40 cents in the money. It was just 50 cents. We're waiting at 134.40s to get out. It went to 134.35. We got some more outs at 19s there. So it's a big already that. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I can't just keep on talking about all of these. Like these are the trades that are on. You guys can see them that are on there. Sometimes it sounds a little bit too much. Okay, so Fannie Mae there. This name's starting to go right now as well. This is great. I mean, shout out to everybody in the back, man. Shout out to Wayne, shout out to Mateo, and some other guys here that have been on this name. I mean, this has been a huge move up, and right now you're printing even higher on this. Like, it's pretty tough to trade, but it's been a straight up move right there on Fannie and Freddie. So there it goes, continuing higher. They're up another 8%. So as the whole market seems to go, this is just another name. Look, we oh geez, we had bought. So first of all, Nvidia is different. We've already talked about Nvidia a little bit there today. We like the long. If you like the long, you're in the stock. We're in the stock. Rigetti, though, I mean, these are, as Neil said, some of these names just continue to be wild. And, you know, I have it on the sticky note there. This is, again, before CPI, but I was trying to play the 200 period back into $9. And I wrote down on here also, actually, play it, and this is up on @TraderTV, Sean. I said, play this as if it's like an earnings play back into VWAP. So if you go, and here it is right here, you can go check it out. This is what I'm posting here every day. And we just talked about VWAP supports this trade, basically on Rigetti. So as long as we're there, go over, find it. Rigetti, Tesla, SoFi, and Nvidia, all on here today. So anyways, yeah, I just think VWAP is going to be one of those plays that we want to look at. So, hey, you know, Jensen really does this kind of stuff. Like at some point, he doesn't need to be investing into these things, but it's like throw cold water on it, then throw warm water, and it's just like right back up to the upside. It's very, very, we talk about the market being rigged, and I mean, this is just, I don't even think about this kind of stuff. This is just another one of those examples. So there it goes, man, all the way to the downside. A great bounce off yesterday. I was happy with it. I mean, we went $6 to $9 on it, which was pretty good, 50%, or I think it was 48% or something, their return. But yeah, I like the play. I like to play back to VWAP. Thank you, Randy, for the coffee. It's Rigetti. And we talked about this with Brian Shannon, and he likes rigatoni as well. So there was some talk there yesterday on the Market Recap Show. A great time. His favorite pasta was rigatoni. But, you know, that was fun. But longs always win.
Solid.
Longs always win, guys. People in the chat, longs win, right? Jensen is a fraud for this. This is why these guys sometimes have to, you know, zip it a little bit. I feel like, just like I lost a lot of respect for Zuckerberg off that Rogan stuff. So it's just like, we'll wait to see what's going on. But I really like Rigetti here today, back to VWAP.
I don't mind what Jensen said. I think it's a tacit acknowledgement that they're a little bit behind, though. That's the one thing. I think the way that it comes off is that, you know, a lot of the big boys have been spending for a long time aggressively on this, and you've got to consider, of course, you know, the fact that the expectation would be that they'd be a little bit further ahead than they are. So right. I think it's a little bit of a sign of weakness in what ultimately right now is a small segment for them. But yeah, it kind of an acknowledgement that they're a little bit behind the curve. What would be more interesting to me is, well, what if Nvidia were to at some point make an acquisition? You know, like that would, like, I think that's where it would get interesting, is if suddenly, like, and I'm not saying D-Wave or Rigetti or one of these get bought out. It's just, it gets pretty interesting if the acknowledgement is that they could be a little bit behind. Does some of that spend come out in picking up one of these companies? I would not be surprised in the next couple of years to see that happen.
Boys.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Adara.
Upgrades and downgrades here. Adobe, we know, is a little bit beat up as of late, but right now, slightly positive on the day here with an upgrade from XA and BNP Paribas. KB Homes was reported Monday after the close, getting an upgrade today from Seaport Research. Devon, which actually is one of the top performing S&P 500 stocks so far this year, up another 1% with this upgrade from Bernstein this morning, and Affirm here with an upgrade from William Blair. Keep an eye on this name because we know it can run. William Blair also initiated with an outperform rating on SoFi this morning. You can read more about that on our Trader TV watch list. The downgrade side of things, Intuit getting downgraded by XA and BNP Paribas. Sentinel One down about 1.5% with a UBS downgrade. Lam Research downgraded here by Wolf Research, and Transocean being downgraded by Evercore ISI. There's some really interesting stuff on both sides of the board, guys.
Maybe they're hungry like the wolf to buy some Lam. Like, Lam has literally been accumulating for a very long time.
Yeah, you know, that's a good.
Like, look at the prior high here. Like, it is what it is, right? But I mean, come on. On the weekly, this is 2022 highs. That's 2023 highs, right at $72. Then you had a breakout right at the beginning of 2024, bottomed at 72, made highs. Where is it barcoding for the last, you're talking about, what is that, July? July of last year to now, it's barcoding at the $72 level. Someone's accumulating stock down here on Lamb. And they're a good company. They make the stuff that makes the chips. So, like, you put them in the ASML category, AMAT category. Like, it's one of those types of companies. But, yeah, come on. Someone's accumulating it. And look at this wedge on the weekly. Break the 50 on the weekly. This one is probably poised to run. It doesn't do enough volume to be a day trade, however. So I think that's a bit of a, I don't know, really downgrade them? Like, just when it looks like they're basing out, like it's starting to look good. Like ASML started to look good and it's bouncing.
Downgrade side?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was on the upgrade. I was looking at that chart. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. After ASML bounced, now you're going to downgrade Lamb Research?
It just means whoever downgraded is looking to get long. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about the rig nature of it all.
Yeah, but don't day trade that stock. It's really low volume.
Yeah, it might not be. Maybe there's a way to do it with options. Okay, so just really quickly, the name that got my attention on there was going to be Affirm. And I was looking at the short float here. It's only 6% right now. So I think people are starting to trim out, thanks to Benzinga Pro for that. But there goes Affirm today. I mean, it's going to be so hard to judge like a good entry spot for some of these names until the market opens and really gives us that first 5 minutes or so. Because like, if you like the upgrade, that's fine. But then like, CPI hit, and it was basically, the stock was up 1%, 1.5%. We were looking at it, and then CPI hit, and then on pretty light volume, it just whips up, man, almost 7%. It was up over 7% at one time. So I think you got to watch out for just valuations right now. I mean, the reason why I like the stock, you just got good bank earnings there, so I think the consumer's probably pretty strong. We'll find out more with the tech space there. Are we buying or selling more equipment there? Apple and Affirm had that deal. I think it sort of fell through there. There goes Affirm now up 7%. So as I was just talking about it, it gained 0.5%. It's just volatile based on the move today. So I would say let it settle down a little bit. Like that $60 level that I liked is now gone. So you got to watch out for it. Well, it's right there, but do you want to punch long up 8-9% today? So that's, I don't know. I really like Affirm. I think that it's been hit down there. Looks like it's battling back. SoFi is on my radar today. I mean, there's so much to talk about. It's only 8.57 right now. But again, I really like SoFi. Gets basically that exact same bump. You know, SoFi, I wrote down on the sticky note 14.50. It was at 14.75. And I was like, okay, if we dip down into the 200 period right here, that would be a good trade. And now it's all the way up here, so we'll have to play back to VWAP. So all of this stuff, if you're looking at the sticky note, I want to thank 4,000 or 5,000 of you yesterday. If you're looking at it, I think we're going to have to use VWAP, and we're going to have to try to play some dips into the levels that we had mentioned for breakout levels. The market is really hot right now. If you do want some more trade ideas, I see it right here conveniently on the screen. Make sure you hit that QR code. Very, very simple. Get out your phone, grab that code, get the watch list, sign up for it immediately, and join the masses. I don't know if it's the #1 watch list or trading resource sent out daily.
It is now.
But I think it's at least the top 5. You know, so if you're not part of the Trader TV watch list, then you're definitely missing out.
Free.
It's absolutely free. It has great information. It has charts on there. It has all the trading ideas that I build off of. And I hope I'm creating some FOMO here. It basically has everything you need in one space.
Yes.
So if you don't sign up for it, look, sign up for it. If you don't like it, unsubscribe.
It takes 2 seconds.
You know, we have like, I think it's the lowest unsubscribe rate in the business. Do not fact check that, but I think that's probably.
Well, it's obscenely low. I can tell you that much. The more.
There we go. See, not only dropping trading knowledge, but also random knowledge.
When
that
something
may
is
not be true.
When something is free, I have a very simple philosophy with it. Even if the cost is 0 and the upside is anything, you take the action. And you know what you know why that logic to me I'll always live with? Because the other side of that coin, think of it this way. Would you ever see a lotto ticket, which is a 1 in a whatever chance of winning, right? But would you actually have one just sitting there and like for free and then not take it and check it? Someone's giving it to you. Of course, there's no chance.
If I see $1 on the ground, I may.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like even if it's a ridiculously low probability of something, if your downside is 0, you just do it. Of course you do it, especially when it takes you no time to do. I'm just gonna one note because we're talking about volatile stocks. This was a mover yesterday. And I'm gonna have this up pretty much all this WNW thing. I'm gonna have it up. Obviously, it's gonna be a different sort of stock today after cratering in yesterday's trade and down another 43%, which is nothing compared to what it dropped. But it's been holding on to VWAP. It goes without saying it's SSR. 73 cents on this. I think we mentioned this in the afternoon show. 73 cents or 72 was the prior low on this stock. As long as it's underneath, I want to look to try to trend trade it to the downside. It's still got some pretty decent volume, but if it can break that back out, I think there could be like a little bit of a mini squeeze. And it wouldn't take much. I'm just talking about like getting there to $1. So this is going to be on my radar, keying off of that prior low on the daily at 72 cents. There's so many things moving, man.
All right, quick recap here for anyone that missed it at 8:30. We'll give you a rundown of what you missed. CPI, month over month, 0.4% versus 0.3 expected year over year, 2.9 exactly in line with expectation. Core on the month over month, 0.2 versus 0.2 expected there as well. We do get a slight dip on the year over year number, 3.2 versus 3.3. So cue the rally. Let's have a look at the overall market here to get going.
58.82, Brendo. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. Decidedly above that right now. We are now knocking on the door of 6,000 points. 59.79 is the overnight high. So here's the deal. We're going to look to 6,000 as resistance. If we continue to go, we'll look to 59.50 as support if we retrace.
As the guys were just mentioning, super easy. Go down to the description. Top link. It's the very, very first top link. Hit that. You'll get to the sign up page. All you need is your email address, and then you get everything you need to know on it every single day for free. Absolutely nothing from us. JP Morgan among a few here out with bank earnings to kick things off here this morning. WFC just off to my right here on another monitor. Still the top performing bank at this point in the pre-market. There it is, testing highs right now. Almost 5%. What? For Wells Fargo here in the pre-market this morning. I mean, all of these, though, with impressive numbers, to say the least.
And Wells Fargo could have a fundamental tailwind, Brendo, going into 25, because recall, they had that issue where they were making fake customers, and the government were one of the, I know, we'll leave that deal in a second, but the point is they were under restriction. They couldn't grow beyond a certain amount. They were being capped down by the government under regulation. So with the incoming administration coming in and having, kind of kept their nose clean for a while, they could be kind of relieved of that. So nice move up for them so far on the day, but that's earnings related. I want to point to Goldman over here. Goldman obviously reporting as well, and this is what caught my attention. Q4 EPS, not adjusted EPS, regular EPS, $11.95 a share. The street was looking for 8.22, so a fundamental beat there. Revenue surpassed the anticipated $12.39 billion. You had good investment banking revenue, which popped 29%. You also had mergers and acquisitions possibly in focus now with the Wrath of Khan over. So we'll keep an eye on that.
For anyone just joining, Sharif is not a fan of Lena Khan. Yeah, I mean, the investment banking number, like 29% is impressive, to say the least. One of many to choose from. Where's the trade, John?
Yeah, so I was looking at Citigroup. We just, by the way, we just bought some more Nvidia down here at 133.50. So that's now 50 cents in the money and going back up to the high side right now, just averaging into this trade. And before we go over old banks, look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is absolutely like on fire right now. Like Bitcoin just touched 99.5 again. Like, oh boy. Where's my guy Obi over there? Oh boy, this is like, let's go over to a 15-minute chart, and we're going to talk about banks. I'm not, we don't even, there we go, crypto be coming up last. I mean, look, we should put a poll up. By the time we get to BTC headline, will it be over or under 100 grand? But there it is, really barcoded all morning there, and then we get the number, and it just blasts off. So, right now, crypto is starting to get real sort of jiggy with it there. Again, what's up, Will? There it is, 93, nice break right there. That garbage gets out of there, straight up to the upside right now. I'm not smart enough to pick tops or bottoms. You guys know the last time I bought was 94,000, and that was before this year. That was before Christmas there. All right, now Nvidia's going, man. We just got another big one, man. Another 50 cents there on Nvidia. Yeah, will Bitcoin be over or under 100,000 by the time we get to, the open, I guess, or our BTC talk later on, right there. I don't know how to properly word that, Fabian. I have no idea. Okay, so just really quickly here. Oh, that's Nvidia. So there it is, by the way, Nvidia. I mean, hey, that's what trading's all about. We talked about this. Brendan asked where the trade was, right? Look, great recap there of all the numbers. For me, and I'm going to take like my Brian Shannon hat on here and just traders, which are pretty much all of them that are smarter than me. And that is like, I'm not going to sit here and look at those numbers and be like, okay, therefore this means the Citigroup should be up or JP Morgan should be up. I'm trading price action. That's what I do every single day. So right now, this is up 5%. Obviously, with a good report. I mean, you can't just not look at the report. You have to know some kind of macro, but we hear the numbers, we hear the statistics. It's breaking out. There's a huge break from that 74 level. I really like the carry forward momentum, right? Outpacing what was expected today. Most banks expected around 3 to 4%, so it's a nice move up. The only problem with all these trades, in my opinion, and we can look at JP Morgan, they're all going to look like the same thing. Back into VWAP should hold, right? Especially 250. There's a 250 break. This looks great too. But the thing is that we got this great bump there, and it's a little bit more dramatic in Citigroup. Well, actually, that's right at 8 o'clock. I guess it's right here, that bump. So the bump from 8:30 on that CPI, that's what we have to see. Yesterday, we saw a complete collapse into the open, which we talked about the short. We had the short yesterday, and the market absolutely fell down, and it was a banger day. Now, will that happen again today? Thank you for the poll. There he goes. By opening bell? Watch this. Yes. All right, so let's see what happens there. All right, so right there, Citigroup, I just wanted to say right now, I want to see what happens around this 76. Coincidental, that's where VWAP is. That's where the bump started before CPI. So this is the name that I'm on watch. It's going to be Citigroup for the banks. I like the price point, $77, a little bit better than Goldman at $5 bills. No one will be trading that, or JP Morgan. I mean, the last time we traded these bank names was I probably traded JP Morgan. Maybe even on earnings, maybe is the last time we both traded these names. So, we'll wait for them. We prefer the smaller bank names, like I know you're looking at Robinhood. I'm looking today at a SoFi. What's on the list? Okay, so SoFi's even on the list there. So, all right, we'll wait for that. But I'm looking at SoFi today as well. So there's a lot of things to talk about here. What's up, Trading by Ryan? Yeah, the TQQs. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Yesterday, TQQ was the #1 stock, and I think we'll be looking at that again here today as we approach that $80 mark and start banging our head against it. But today may not be a short, my friend.
I'm skeptical we get to 100K before the open. I think we get there. But 9:30, I think maybe we get a little bit of a dip before. So let me hopefully, I want this chart to load up. I'll show you that as a black chart. Robinhood, that's a 52-week high at 43.83. This is the one that I'll be on. Look, I love the chart of Goldman Sachs. I like the chart of Citigroup. And Goldman Sachs is a really good setup, and I'll get there in a quick little second. But I'm looking to buy back into the prior high on Hood. Oh, there we go. Now it's back. So Robinhood, 52-week high. There is an all-time high just adjacent to and above this. So just keep in mind that there's a little bit of overhead resistance, but you're already starting to press through. It's a blue sky setup on Robinhood right now. And obviously, if you fail 100,000, you got to be careful getting trapped. But for me, it's frustrating because I had an over-under. And when there's a big economic number, I pretty much am always going to have over-under levels. Like if you're sitting there underneath this prior low at 42.25, that's an over-under for me. If the number takes us breaking down, then I want to look shorts. If the number takes us breaking out, I want to look longs after. So there's probably at least 3 levels here on Hood that I could still like. One of them, of course, being the current high, and then you've got back here at 43.2, and then you'd have another shot all the way back down into that 42.3 when everything broke out. So Goldman Sachs, look, great numbers, all that kind of good stuff. It's already breaking out. I mean, whether the chances to get any kind of pullback at this point, you have to wait for the number in 20 minutes. The open 20 minutes when the call comes on here. So that 580, there's not a lot of liquidity in here. I think you got to wait till after the open, and I would never want to trade this during the call. So it's going to be Robinhood for me.
All right, let's go on to Tesla. To the upside we go, as the guys are mentioning here. 410 just comes and goes. 3.5%. right now in the pre-market. A couple of things to note. I mean, this is to be expected. They're going to shut down Shanghai production of the Model Y for 3 weeks, and it's just to revamp the line to get ready for the new model. So to be expected as far as that is concerned. And oh yeah, the SEC is going to sue Elon just because on the way out the door for him buying Twitter.
5 days left in Gary Gensler's tenure, Brendo, but we still have a new lawsuit. Here's the deal. So allegedly, Musk crossed the 5% ownership threshold in Twitter back in March of 2022, but failed to disclose his ownership stake by the required date, which would have been March 2024. He did end up disclosing his ownership, but waited till April 4th, causing Twitter's stock price to rise by about 27%. So here are the allegations. The allegations that he bought $500 million worth of Twitter shares during the delay that he didn't report, and the SEC is claiming that Musk underpaid about $150 million to shareholders by not disclosing that. So they want what they call unjust enrichment paid back. They're citing a previous case against Musk by the Oklahoma Firefighters Pension Fund under the same idea there, where he delayed letting them know about his Twitter stake. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how this ends up panning out, but there it is.
Yeah, really the only way to tie back to Tesla's shares specifically was it was around the same time that he was selling a whole bunch of Tesla shares to fund said purchase of Twitter. So we'll see how it plays out.
Like, this seems like relatively simple to me. Like, it's one of those, if he didn't disclose in a timely fashion, he'll pay a fine and he'll move on. And to the extent that, and if he didn't, then who cares? It's just one of those nothing burgers. But I just feel like the degree to which it matters for Tesla is, I guess, A, sentiment, and then B, the fine wouldn't be big enough that he'd have to sell Tesla shares, I don't think. But I suppose that's not impossible, so I shouldn't speak that way. But if you talk about Tesla here, the one thing I don't love as much about Tesla as some of the other like dip buy opportunities is it's been a huge bottom at 400 to 402. Well, that's well underneath VWAP on Tesla. Ideally, when that program selling happened in the afternoon, look where we just turned on Tesla, right at 412 where the program selling came in. So if you're this close to 412, I don't want to be long underneath it. I want it, like, it needs to be breaking away. And just keep in mind, remember yesterday, the initial breakout was a failed break on Tesla up here as well. So it's got to be above the 412 and finding buyers. Otherwise, you really got to wait for 400, 402. I'm taking shots at VWAP on Hood. I'm taking shots at VWAP on Nvidia as long as it's above 133. But Tesla up here, I think I'll be passing, at least for now, on the 408. It can easily be a breakout above that 412 top there. It's not a very good line drawn at 414. I'll probably cancel that and make that a little bit cleaner. But no, it needs to break out those highs. The program buying was very distinct in the afternoon. I don't think I want to be a buyer directly underneath it.
All right, so yeah, it was like our number one idea earlier on today, but it's already up huge, as Neil just mentioned. I mean, I think now you just have to let it settle down. I mean, you are barcoding right now, which is pretty good to see. I mean, you like to see it give us a level right off the open. It looks like it's trying to do that at 409. You know, yesterday we had that huge bump up. You know, we could show you the charts of it, obviously, yesterday. I mean, here, if we can look at the TQQs, why don't we just do that? And then just look at the NASDAQ just real quick. So yesterday, you know, we had this bump right there, and then we shorted this move, and then had this off the open. So right now, you're not pulling back as dramatically. Like yesterday, at least we pulled back into some VWAP there before the market opened. Like right now, you're still, I mean, this is the TQQs, but you're still like basically $1 away. So you're not getting into that level, and we only have 10 minutes until imbalances right now. So I'm not feeling like the same way that we were yesterday. And we don't really have, you know, like that defined top there at 80 and change. It's too choppy up there to say that this is most likely going to be a top. If you are looking short, then I would say that you're going to want to get in. You know, don't get short right off the open. Let it maybe even break here and then fail back under this top of 80.25 or so. I guess it's just 80 flat, I guess is good enough. So I would let it break that, then fade back out. So for the NASDAQ, if you're looking short, I'm not. I'm looking long right now. I think that dip backs into VWAP would be what's working. So if we're going to think about that, not that Tesla's going to trade as the market, but I really, really like this base on Tesla. I know, man, Brendan got this as one of his picks. I like this. I really like this base there. I think things are going to change, man, for this company. And, you have a couple more days till inauguration. We know that sort of Trump and Elon have been, obviously parading around about many different ideas here. I think it works. The Model Y and the Model 3, we heard about that in vehicle 1 and 2, top sellers. Those trends aren't going to change anytime soon. I really like Tesla, so we got to play the VWAP dip, right? So into the 407, 408. This is a name that you have to look at. Right now, I'm only bidding 401.20 or something like that, or 402, I guess. I'm bidding 401.60, but maybe down into here if we do get a crazy move back, if we're wrong about their no pullback, this is another great stock. It's my number one long idea. I like it better than Nvidia. So that's where I am with Tesla.
All right, let's talk some quantum stocks. To the upside we go in a big way, depending on what you're looking at. Here's Nvidia, just real quick. First off, this was part of the catalyst this morning. Get ready for Quantum Day 2025. Jensen will take to the stage once again and give some Jensen wisdom as far as quantum is concerned. All of these, though, just absolutely monstrous this morning. 16% up here for RGTI. There was some separate news on IONQ. A little bit lower on the volume side right now. It's only 10.
And they were moving yesterday. So I was trading QBTS on the How to Trade show during the midday, and they were nicely moving to the high side. So let's look QUBT moving up nicely here, 17.5%. Kind of already told you what the deal was with the quantum names, despite his conservatism with the industry. Jensen Huang is investing in quantum, and he's hiring for those roles. Microsoft as well, telling their business clients to get quantum ready by 2025, urging these business leaders to prepare for the acceleration in quantum R&D, and you've got them moving up on the day. So we'll look to possibly execute some trades.
Yeah, and more upside to come, possibly. Just reading as well, Fed Fund futures now pricing in a June and December rate cut. So that's just popping up in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to, we're getting the spreadsheet settled out. If you guys weren't here on Thursday when we had the day off, we all made 3 picks.
Yeah, that's right.
So Brendan's was Bitcoin, Tesla. I don't have the other one.
I don't think he made a third, apparently.
Well, okay, we're going to ask him for that soon. All right, so quantum bounce. Yeah, Nvidia's bouncing, so that's getting back up through now. This could be hopefully a decent trade right there. RGTI with Rigetti. This is the name that I'm looking at. Look, I think that it's important to look at all the names, but if you're actively going to trade, you don't really want to be on 3 or 4 of them, because what's going to most likely happen to one will probably happen to the other. Like if there's a flush, there'll be a flush, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to stay strong and long with Rigetti, hopefully, today. I was waiting for pullbacks into VWAP, which is now $10. We wrote down on the sticky note, watch out for $9. But then we all talked about what happened at 8:30. CPI came out, a little cooler than expected, which is great, obviously, for the market. And there's the move up for Quantum and Rigetti. We did some good talk there from Nvidia when they're going to have their Quantum whatever day there. So at some point, it will fade. So I just think you wait for it. I paid for shorts. They're virtually free. I don't have a plan to short it, but if you are going to short something like this, it's dangerous. We went long yesterday and got out at $9, so not looking great there. But that top, we faded off of there before, so that's $11. So if you want to dance with it, I guess you could start the party at 11, but I wouldn't hold too much past that. Okay, do we even know? I don't know. I know you're going to talk probably about QBTS, but I just want to see here.
Balance everything
what is the RGTI? Oh yeah, and then that's the other thing too. Imbalances, right, are going to hit these things. Yeah, so we have a 17.5% short float on Rigetti.
I think
here.
they're all about the same. So
There's
I kind
my
of
price, $8.95. Yeah, so
yeah, like 16.6 on QBTS. Like it's.
So that's what I mean. If you're going to trade one, I think you just pick one.
You know what it feels like? It's almost as if when you have like a bunch of stocks like this in the same group that have the same short flow, you don't wonder if it's not like a same couple of like hedge funds that are just uniformly short the group. Because that couldn't end possibly
exactly.
poorly at all. QBTS.
Don't go like long every single one of them.
It's insane to me. No, but it's insane to me that that could actually, anybody would be that stupid to be leveraged across multiple names in the same space that could all squeeze, because like any one of them goes on actual news, then sympathy, the others go with them, and you're just like triple screwed. QBTS has had a buy and balance every single day for the last while. I think this is one of the bigger ones, 2.8 million to the upside for QB. There's nothing else. INQ's 300,000, but you always see this. I've seen it almost every single day on QBTS. Now the over/under for me was at 6. Which initially, like, don't get me wrong, like initially to me that would have been if it happens at the open and spikes in curls, you could look for a fade. But it's just this previous close from last week. I'm looking at one fade zone, which is all the way up here. Like it's the only line in the chart where if it mean reverts there, I should have a short. Like if it goes up here and does a curl, I should be shorting it underneath that 7 and around that 680 level. But yeah, over/under at the 6 because of that prior close and this prior close, which does mean I don't want to be buying it way up here underneath. Forget about 5, we're too far away. But alert to that buy and bounce. We'll check back in to see if it's still almost 3 million shares. Our vol is huge in the pre-market for this one. It's actually the most volume it's had in a week or so for pre-market volume on D-Wave.
SoFi with an upgrade today, 5+ right now for SoFi. Volume-wise, not the greatest, but I mean, it's an initiation, but at outperform, so as good as an upgrade. Benefiting from the overall market move, obviously, here for SoFi for all the banks or related bank stocks. Again, if anyone missed that just a couple of minutes ago, Fed fund futures now actually pricing in a second rate cut in December. So we had another little pop there on that.
Yeah, I was just reading an article right now that, the likes of SoFi, the likes of Affirm, these are going to be some of the institutions that benefit from the changing regulatory landscape that's coming in on the 20th. So we'll keep an eye on it, up 5.5. Definitely one that we can trade intraday. Has good volatility, guys.
Yeah, holding nicely right now at support as well, guys, for SoFi.
Well, it's okay. Depends on your time.
These quantity names are breaking right now, but we'll talk about
oh my goodness. In a minute. Yeah, so it's Rigetti's going, QBTS. I was just looking at it underneath the $6 level for that over/under, but it's actually breaking out now. So I'm waiting at VWAP, but I just got tagged on Nvidia. Robinhood's got a. Here, I'm going to trade Robinhood, not SoFi, but Robinhood now has a barcode support at 44.20. Like somebody's been holding the bid on Robinhood for the last 10 to 12 minutes here, just right at 44.20. Can't make that stuff up. SoFi is at top end of the channel, so a little bit of a trend reversal happening on SoFi if it can close above here, like 15.30. So this for me is going to I just recently, a couple weeks ago, got out of some SoFi on my personal account. It is what it is. Probably end up being a bad fill. But this one needs to break out the 15.5 level to go higher. It's Robinhood that I'm going to be trading. But yeah, you're getting a trend reversal here on SoFi, which I think looks fantastic on that daily chart. Of course, on a daily chart, to break the trend, it actually has to close above it. But it's in the hood that I want to be up that 6%. All-time high here, and 52-week high at 43.8 that I want to be buying back into on Robin. Hit that like, hit that share. You see that move in QBTS. No one else is going to show you 3 million buy and balance on QBTS.
Right.
And we'll check back in on it, because if it pairs off, then you want to know before the open if all of a sudden they're able to find enough sellers for that stock. That would be a little bit dangerous.
All right, SoFi. So yeah, look, I have it written down on the on the system as well here. I really like the stock. I mean, I think right now we're gonna have to play it back into $15. We'll find out when earnings are. They're always a little bit later for SoFi, but that was a nice bounce again off the daily chart. I mean, you're trying to break through that 50 period moving average, and you do that here today. So there it goes. Nice move there. There's the break. There's the hold. We saw Goldman Sachs. I mean, if you're just gonna look at like all the other banks, I mean, watch the 50 period moving average on just like a JP Morgan. There it is right there. There it is right there. You get slight breaks. But then when you break and then you break back up, there's the breakdown, there's the break up, right? There's the break up again, there's the break up. So, makeups to breakups. Shout out to Method Man on that one there. But I don't know. I like SoFi. We'll play it. I wrote down 1450. I'm not sure about VWAP on this stock because we're pretty close to it right now. I think if the market's going to dip down, we probably have a little bit of better opportunities coming through right there. But this 1480, I really like that level, man. The pre-market breakdown, if we can get it into those levels again, sort of like pre-CPI, I like SoFi into 1450. So I'm going to try to stay strong and long on some of these names. But again, we're just a couple. You know what? Let's just keep it here for a second. I know we got to go back because the imbalances are coming out in just 1 second. So the only thing we have right now, all right, so SoFi, I guess nothing happening right there. There's Rigetti. So we already talked about Rigetti breaking the high. It comes out just under 1 million shares. That's not huge. It's already done 50, right? All right, you're going to start seeing them pairing off. See, Rigetti already 600,000. Could you imagine if that was million right now? All right, so yeah, not much else actually. Go pretty light, man. There's QBTS was always there. So, all right, back to the desk as we talk about Bitcoin.
Big bear.
Just quickly, Bitcoin back to the upside on this number this morning as well. I wanted to mention BlackRock. Let me grab this if I can. Open image here. This will make sense in a second. This is BlackRock's assets under management. Just hit a new record that's way more than most countries' GDP of $11.5 trillion for BlackRock. Wow. So IBIT, 2.8% right now. Bitcoin to the upside, everything to the upside.
Yeah, clearly.
That's insane. That's $11.5 trillion.
And I was just asking Brendan, I'm like, what percentage of that are these ETFs that people keep investing in? Case in point with the one here, IBIT, the most active of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. So their head of digital assets at BlackRock, Robert Mitchnick, basically says, Brendan, that the adoption is still in a very early stages, especially with wealth advisory and the institutional segments. He goes on to say that demand was gangbusters out of the gates for the institutional, for the retail investor, but wealth advisory and institutional segments are yet to fully adopt due to higher hurdles. He notes that while both of these channels present significant opportunities, the wealth advisory channel is currently showing the most momentum. So, that to me, I translate that into bullish for Bitcoin.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering why we constantly look at IBIT, that's why. It's the biggest of these ETFs, most liquidity, most volume traded, et cetera, et cetera. But nice look for any of these this morning, guys.
Volume. BlackRock reported this morning as well, by the way, and they're up 5%. So not to only talk about JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. I mean, BlackRock, they're not going to split. They probably won't split because they probably just don't even care. $1,000 stock. But 100,000, probably not going to get there yet. We're at 99 on BTC. But as long as we hold some of these highs, if you can hold above 90, forget about 98. If you hold above 97, I want to stay bullish on Robinhood. Part of the fear I would have for Hood is that if you drop underneath support, like if we fail this up here and actually drop underneath 97, I think a stock like Robinhood could be in a little bit of trouble. So that's what I'll be looking at. I'm already looking at a name which is adjacent in the space. So I don't feel any need to be trading Bitcoin in general if I'm trading Robinhood. It's already going to react to it. NASDAQ imbalances just hit, obviously.
Yeah, so so we went over some of those imbalances, but we got something out there on Nvidia at 134 and change.
Oh, IBIT's a big sell.
Oh, IBIT turned into a sell. Okay, so let's look at that quickly as Neil was mentioning it because we're talking about, there it is. Yeah, so good call on that one. There's IBIT right there now as a sell. Before. So, what was nothing before, now grabbing that pressure. Thanks for everybody voting for that chat. And obviously, when we made the chat, Bitcoin really hasn't moved. It's still at 99,100, just breaking now a little bit below. So that won't be happening. But thank you, everybody, for voting on that poll. Over 2,000. Look, man, 2,000 of you vote on the poll, hit the like button instead of hitting the poll. Well, hit both. Okay, there, I'll say no. I've already said yes. Why was I allowed to vote twice? Hit the like button immediately. Get that going. Let YouTube know what you're watching. So, all right, you always want these guys to know everything. All right, so IBIT, that's a good move. We're just talking about Bitcoin. Look, I would just say the 200 period. We already had VWAP. I would just watch out for this. The market's been really, really volatile right here. Look at this little bit of a move down here into the open. The only thing that I'm bidding that's probably going to fill, because it hasn't really been moving that well, is Nvidia. Oh, shoot. The market's held up here, and my Nvidia long, actually, I'm going to cancel this. I was waiting at 50s to reload what we just got out of there because we bought there, out. So we've been getting out of the position, right? I don't know how much we're holding because we've been getting it out, but we're still holding in position. So we'll wait to see if it comes into 133. So that's going to be my next bid, literally at the bottom there, 133.05 is where we're bidding. And then we're going to watch out for that 200 period break, 132.50. And then if we break through 132, I think we got to say see you later. To that. The bell is about to be rung with nobody there.
It's all good.
At it.
The market, I have nothing to throw except the banana. Ring it in 2 and 1. Don't run. Don't worry about it. Let's go. The market is... the market is open, obviously. That was
Good job.
an intense... bell action. Okay, let's see. Let the quote settle down for a quick second here. Palantir, by the way, Palantir 68.
Right.
That was another one for an over-under, and it's going right into that level. Yesterday's high, Palantir 68. VWAP 68. So that's a bit of a bounce zone. QBTS, wow, that didn't even move off that imbalance. Okay. That's interesting.
Firm is ripping.
Did not expect that to happen. But Palantir coming into VWAP. Nvidia is off of VWAP as we speak and trying to get back into the 134 level. So obviously some power moves off the open. Didn't want to ignore that Palantir, obviously.
All right, we talked about this, and we're doing it again right now on Rigetti. I mean, guys, I'm not sure what else we could possibly do. I mean, there it is right there. We said it. It's right here. Well, yeah, like and subscribe. But we just wrote down here, play it back. I mean, play Rigetti back to VWAP. Okay, where's VWAP? $10? Where's our bid? $10? What kind of win is this? 6% right now. We talked about prop firm match and all that kind of stuff. Trade the pool wants you to make 4%. Okay, done. So there it is right there. Nice little move to the upside as we continue to go. Now even a bigger move now, 7% higher. Right now, 70 cents in the money on this play here for Rigetti, and we'll start to get some more and more out of this. We are out right soon now of 50% of the trade as Rigetti goes to the upside. Actually, I was not at 75. Now we'll go back to 75. We're out of 40% of this trade. It's Rigetti right now. Nice upside move right off the jump. So we're long Nvidia now. We like this play back into 133 on Nvidia.
Exactly, and great look on the one, the only Rigetti. Yeah. QBTS is having an absolute war with $6 in here. It's not budging. Like, it's just going 5, 10 cents. There is a huge battle going on buyers and sellers here. I guess, like, if we're playing an over-under, it's a double top at 610. So I'm going to take a breakout on this over-under, but it won't be at 6 even because that price doesn't look like it matters. Robinhood just pulled back into VWAP as well, but let me just get the order in. A little bit of stickies there on QBTS. So if it breaks that high, then we'll let it fly, and we'll see if it can hold on to that $6 level on QBTS. Nvidia holding out nicely off VWAP, Robinhood holding off VWAP, but I guess I'll get to this before I get to Palantir.
All right, guys. There's your first dollar club. It's a 10% winner right there on Rigetti. So there goes Rigetti, man, in and out. I mean, and this is what we're talking about. I've already said my piece, and it's because we're at peace. And it's just like, this is what we're doing. VWAP supports this trade. Wait for pullbacks, play it. So we do that basically on Rigetti. It's a sticky note. Go find it. It's at Trader TV Sean. And there it is right now. It's the trade that I have on board. It's going to be huge. Well, it is huge already. $1 and change in the money. Nvidia, though, starting to come back in. There's the breakdown through 130. So I know you were in this. Yeah, here comes the levels in again. So breakthrough down now. Now the market comes back in as the NASDAQ really falling into the 200 period moving average. So it's a good thing we have the banger on Rigetti. We're still in Nvidia.
I am not. It broke the quarter, so I'm out of Nvidia. Not going to hold it through that one. JP Morgan's actually cratering as well, but we'll get to that in a quick little second. Yeah. I have to consider Robinhood with the banks pulling back and with Bitcoin holding steady. But we lost 133. It tried to bounce. I was getting some out in front of 34, but I need to see a rounded bottom, hold the 133, and then I'll jump back in. I don't want to be catching a falling knife. 132 would be the next one. So while I just keep hearing about JP Morgan in my ear, okay, Bitcoin's holding up. That's not going to matter for Robinhood. If Bitcoin holds up, then Robinhood will be just fine. This bounced off VWAP clean, headed right back into 44.40. Now keep in mind, this is all-time highs at Robinhood just above 44 level. So a fail to break out this top, it's not just 52-week highs that it's got going. It's also all-time highs that it's got going on around here in Robinhood. Palantir might have been a miss. No, it's still at VWAP. Okay, let's see if it can calm down and hold on to this VWAP. So another one that we liked off VWAP here in 68. So Palantir didn't take it through me, but it's giving you that same entry as we speak on PLTR. I'll give it to this lower high at 68 even, and let's see if it can hold on. What's crazy is like Bitcoin is holding up much better than most of the other things I'm looking at.
All right, over 11,000 of you right now. So we want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. Almost 11,000, soon to be 11,000. All right, we just we're holding on tight, man. We talked about this level that we like for Nvidia, so we're long right here, right now on Nvidia. We did not stop out. Well, I mean, we could have stopped out, but our stop out is 132. We talked about that earlier, so we're going to stay strong and long here on Nvidia until that happens, and when it does, we will lose if it does stop out. And we talked about this yesterday. You gotta have your plan, and ours is right now. And we're not gonna lay our, I was gonna say we have a much bigger order right down here right now. Well, we just got filled. So here it comes back in. You see our average price now, 70s. So let's take advantage of that. There it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a nice little reload down below there on Nvidia. Go, young man, go. To the upside right now goes Nvidia. So there it goes, man. We put on a bigger position down below there on Nvidia, down near that level that we liked. So, oh boy, Neil, there it goes to the upside. We're doing it again here on Nvidia, but will it hold? I do not know. Good couple outs there up to 133 and change, but we're just getting excited here. It's fun to make those trades. Now let's wait to see. I don't think it's time to get heavy into any positions yet, so just slow down. The NASDAQ isn't doing too much. Got to take profits when they're there. This Nvidia could still fall out and be a red stock, man, so let's just wait on it, take some profit on that one, feel lucky that we're able to get something out there on the upside because the market's still coming back in. If this is falling down, I really wonder what Tesla's doing.
Tesla is through VWAP and absolutely cranking to the downside. So a little bit of a cautionary tale for a few other names here. QBTS obviously didn't break. So Robinhood is trying to bounce off VWAP a second time in here. So it looks like it's pretty good. The 44 is starting to hold. It still hasn't broken the all-time. Okay, it'll be an all-time high, obviously, if it gets through that top, but it still hasn't broken it yet. But not a very good look for QBTS. Part of the over-under is what it is. Part of the over-under is you're supposed to short it if it fails underneath. So I was only looking breakout on QBTS. But now all of a sudden, you're through VWAP. I should probably look for a short if this can't break that high of the day. That would be following the rules, right? Like I didn't reverse over-under on Tesla yesterday. And probably shouldn't make the same mistake with QBTF. But Robinhood doing absolutely fine. Bitcoin's underneath 66,000. Sorry, underneath 99,000. That's my concern right now. Is Bitcoin pulled back off 69, off 99?
Right, there goes the break.
So if we cannot hold this high, follow your rule. I'm just gonna get out. Got to be able to get out of this one. It doesn't look very good here on Robinhood. I don't like everything is breaking down. You just double tap wick the high on Robinhood, and you're underneath 99,000. Should be a little bit more patient to let these set up and look a little bit better. By the way, on the banking side of things, Citigroup is bouncing off VWAP, and Goldman's call is happening right now, and it just broke $600. So if you're watching the bank stocks, I mean, a couple of them are doing absolutely fine, but everything else, I shouldn't say everything else. A lot of other things absolutely bleeding. Nvidia is about to go red on session as we speak.
Yep. Nvidia. So we're out of that one as it fell through. We talked about that potentially being a fail, so we'll flush that idea down the toilet. Okay, but here it comes. We finally got something back into the below VWAP there. We talked about where we'd like this trade into Tesla. If you're coming over here, I mean, I was just looking at this 404. We might be a little bit early on, we probably are a little bit early on this trade. But again, I look at the futures and I say we may bounce off VWAP. So we'd rather be in this name just to see if Tesla wants to give us a chance here. Sorry, that's not Tesla. I went into Nvidia. This is Tesla right there. I don't mean to be short Nvidia right now. We got to get out of that one. So there's Tesla. I just want to talk about it. It is starting to run out now to that upside. So we do put out a few shares here. Let's see if we get some out at 07s. Yes, we are. We are starting now. We didn't get out of enough there. It just popped up through 07. We didn't get anything on that. So now we're at 407.05, and there it is, a nice little runner now to the upside for Tesla. Oh boy, this is the most amount of shares I've had in Tesla in a hell of a long time. Tesla's starting to go back up to the upside right now as we'll switch it up, right? I mean, you don't have to just stay on Nvidia. There goes Tesla. Let's go. Nice move for Tesla. We do buy Nvidia back through that 132. So let's not give all our profits away that we just really cashed in nicely there on Tesla. Let's wait to see what Nvidia wants to do. There it goes. Neil, it's another big one on Nvidia, but we got excited last time and it faded back out. So let's wait now. Nvidia's going, and there it is, Neil. It is a $3 winner on Tesla right now. You were long. Okay, you're flat.
I had one trade after Nvidia, and it was Robinhood. It's going right back into the highs. When we lost Bitcoin 99,000, I got out of it, but we're going to jump right back on the bid here. Just try to stay focused on the name that's been strong the whole way. Everything else downward trending. This one upward trending and looking very, very nicely. QBTS is now back toward that high break, so it looks like it wants to make a run at that 610 level. Looking pretty good. They just shook into VWAP on the overall market. For the longs, look like they are back on. Today, determined to be a little bit more patient with some of the dip buys. And looks like that's going to end up working out here. So 610 break. We're still getting a possible breakout here on Robinhood, all-time highs in about 10 cents or so. And now Nvidia does. Now you have a bottoming tail candle. Bottoming tail candle on Nvidia. Not have to catch the falling knife. We can try to catch a higher low and not just bleed it a couple of dollars against us.
Neil, we're $7 in the money right now, so let's props it up, man. Some good trades over on that side. Hey man, what are you supposed to do? It's $7 there and $1 on Nvidia right now, back up to the upside, over $8 in the over $9 in the money right now, because I forgot about our friend with Mom's Spaghetti over here and Rigetti. That's $1 in the money as well. So I don't know, man. I just things are working out for us. We're up more right now today than we were yesterday. At this time, it's 9:40, and yesterday we had one of the biggest days for me this month. So it's starting to really work out for us now. Almost $8. I mean, when you're $8 in the money,
great look.
It's gonna. No, I'm just saying it's gonna be a good day. I mean, it's just like that's why I'm sitting here like talking about this stuff. It's just all these are just monster trades. The Nvidia trade, now Nvidia's $1. The Rigetti trade right off the open. We'll go 3 for 3 and just smash things around. We only have 10% of Tesla left.
Adara?
QMCO, it's worth noting, Quantum Corp is not a quantum ticker. QMCO tends to trade in sympathy with these quantum tickers, likely because of its name. But either way, just under 1 million shares right now, so be cautious. Not a ton of volume, about 834,000 shares traded on the day. No catalyst that I could find of its own, but a 4.1 million share float. 32.25% of that is going to be sold short, so massive short float, relatively small float for QMCO, guys.
All
That's a big quant name. By the way, that WNW, it is, it's now at 35 cents, so obviously it never got back into VWAP. This is, if it does halt, I'm looking to make a halt play off of this. Ideally, it would be a down halt reversal play, but right now it's putting in a little bit of a reversal candle at 35 cents. I haven't seen a big bidder on it. I'm going to take several shots at this one. It's a bit of a different type of name that I'd be on, but if it holds on to this 35, there's your bottoming tail candle. Obviously, if you're down 62%, you're going to be SSR. That goes without saying, but it is a penny stock, and it's going to trade and move a little bit more differently. Like if this moves 5 cents, that's huge. If it moves 10 cents, that's huge. So your stops, you want to be at like the 1 cent range.
All right, guys. We have Rigetti on the sticky note today. Here are the ideas that we have today. Let's just review them. I mean, it's only 43 right now. Yeah, it's only 43. So here we go. This is Rigetti. Play it back to VWAP. So let's see, just right there. And I'm only going over these because, again, it's going to sound like we're trying to be here and we're talking about teaching and we talk about all this stuff. So let's just take the opportunity to do that. I would. Oh my God, Rigetti right now. What exactly, Neil? What world are we living in right now? We have $9 in the money in total off the ideas posted right here. Tesla dip buys, Rigetti to VWAP right now. Nvidia was a problem, but we got back in now and no more problems. So far so good there. We'll go 3 for 3 on the day, but it's more waiting for Nvidia to go. I mean, we just, we got stopped out there at 132. We talked about that. We thought we maybe took a chance breaking back through 132. So that's what we did. Now it goes boom to the upside. Tesla, again, we talked about it. We wanted the long. I said, if the market dips, this is the one long that we need. And I appreciate this, man. Look, if you're here for winners, I mean, records speak for themselves. But this is, to me, is important. Sean always gets you jacked for trading. Look, that's what it's about. You have to be excited. I don't care. And look, Neil and I did this yesterday, and we talked about this a little bit. We talked about how hard this job is that, some of you have chosen. And I actually thought about what we talked about. And it was like, I think if you're entering this job, and I said that nobody should basically try to be a day trader for a living. I think that is, I still stand by that. I'm going to talk about it in a second right here because we have over 10,000 watching. I think what you need to start with, and this is, Neil and I have been fortunate to be able to do this for many years. But the thing is that we've seen so many people come and go so quickly. Now, what you need to have is you need to have the ability to be able to put screen time in. And if you're looking to start a business, you're going to need to, do your market research, get into the right space, know what you're doing. You shouldn't open a restaurant if you're not a chef, so on and so forth, things like that. Maybe that's not true. I don't know.
Well, I think you can.
But the most success from day trading, I would think, comes from the casual trader where you're not stressed out trying to make a living doing something that 95 to 98% of people fail at, and that is day trading. Can it be a very profitable career if you can find that needle in a haystack? Yes. But do I recommend searching for that? No. I think you sit down and you trade. If you're able to make consistent money, which 98% of the people cannot, then I think you can step it up and start to become a day trader for a potential living. But as I said, ask us. We will be honest with you. From the trades that we are showing you on our screen, and this is why, and I hear Sharif say it all the time. He'll go, guys, this is a great trade, but I'm red on the day. Yep. Right? You'll hear me say that all the time. I'm up on the day, I'm down on the day. That is what's important. And then you go to the next most important part, and thank you for all the love in the chat. You go for the next important part after that, which is share size. So we're going to be honest. If you ask us, with everything that we're showing you on here today, are you green or are you red? Neil and I, Sharif, Joe, all of us, Adara, everybody, will tell you if we're red or green on the day. And then at that point, you can see if that makes any sense for you to get in there and hop in and try it. Everybody has to try their own thing. Not everyone, as Neil's analogy was great yesterday, not everyone's going to be a baseball player. You may want to be a baseball player. That's great. Go out, try, practice, become the best baseball player you can be. But, to put all your eggs in the basket of saying, I want to play professional baseball, that is the next level. So that's where I stand with all of this. And I think that that's something that, if you guys ever have any questions specifically like that, please put them in the chat because I think it encourages this great talk and it gives you guys an opportunity just to see exactly how real we are, right? So I think that that's the most important thing. And, that's why I'm here and I've been talking this way since the jump. So there's Nvidia right now. Are we green on Nvidia? Yes, we are. Are we green on Rigetti? Yes, we are. Are we green on Tesla? Yes, we are. So there it goes. So far, so good here to start the day. Thank you for allowing me this space to, give it to you, hopefully the best way we possibly can. Neil, it's $6 in the money on Tesla. It's $2 in the money on Nvidia. It's $1 in the money on Rigetti. So with that being said, how's it going over there? I'm going to take a minute to chill.
I'm looking at one thing and one thing alone. I'll tell you right now, there's no way I'm going to be green on Nvidia. It broke tough. 133. No, it's just, there's never, my style of trading will absolutely, of course it's not New York. I'll just go to the black chart there. You know how it works. There's no chance I'm long in front of 133 and it goes down there and I'm green. Because my over-under is 133. I'd have to break a rule for that to be true. But just going back over to QBTS, this is the name that I'm on watch right now. Because I just said over-under has to be a rule for me. And right now, this stock, load, give me a couple seconds here, QBTS. I don't want to have to give the black chart again. There it goes. It's failing to make the breakout of 615. So if it's not going to make this break, there it goes. It's now underneath VWAP. I have to be willing to actually short this name. But we talked about this being an over-under play, and I want it to break. It is not breaking out. I did not reverse into Tesla yesterday, so I'm going to reverse into this one today, although I was never even in the long trade. So going to be short. This is a very simple strategy. It's breaking the trend. I had a trend line drawn. We break out the high, I reverse from short to long. But otherwise, this one just doesn't want to go. I had a 3 million buy imbalance and couldn't go. I think there's room to 550 in here easily to get a 1-to-1, but if it breaks out that 610, I do not mind reversing out of it. Robinhood is about to get the $45 level any second now. Looks like it is going to be a massive run on the hooded one. Bitcoin still at 99. I do not want to be taking a breakout at any highs if we're underneath 100,000. That was a rule of mine. As a matter of fact, when we lost that top previously, Robinhood was chilling out and failing 44.50, and it failed a high break. That got me out for a 1% gain that's now like 3%. But I'm not taking a 45 high. I'm just going to be buying dips on trend with Robinhood. That's going to be the plan of action. These were the two names. These two and Nvidia were the three names that I liked. So I want to try to stick with them. It's just Hood, it's going to be QBTS, and it's going to be Nvidia. Nvidia with a bit of a rounded bottom, but it's still not really showing me what I want to see over 133. Like, this is all it has to do is close, one more test, do a bit of a rounded bottom, not going to chase tops. I want to see consolidation. I want to see that lower high start to come in at that 133 level, because that's my over-under. So we'll see if we can get a fill there, not chasing Robinhood. And as far as the other names that we should be watching here, like things like Apple, I know there's other things moving. This is on an absolute train to the upside, Apple. Unabated to the quarterback, essentially all green. I'm not a big fan of this 238, 239 level. As I see this start to scream up, I'm reminded that this is a fade zone for me on Apple. Probably has to break the 39 to get into the 40 to 41. So I'm going to put that one on the back burner. So just QBTS, Robinhood, you know what's up with those names. They are absolute flies. And just another thing on this QBTS, Rigetti did get into resistance and is starting a bit of a trend reversal. That's the other thing that's got me trying to be not stubborn about that long trade, because this one's not going. As a matter of fact, if we get a pop into 590, I should like this even more, maybe take a few more shares at the 590 and just give it a chance to be able to work. So, if the long doesn't set back up in Robinhood, I don't take it, but this time we're going short in QBTS. What we didn't do in Tesla yesterday, we're going to do today with our good friend QBTS. We'll see what happens. AMD also making some power runs, but that's not the one I'm focused on. It's can Nvidia hold on to VWAP?
Right,
and that's a pretty simple proposition. Like, it's on a 15-minute, it still doesn't look bullish to me yet. And if it doesn't look bullish on the 15, I don't want to jump back in. It ran stops at 33. It needs to close this candle above, and then I'll like that long.
As we had Jeff Mendel on yesterday from the OTC markets there, and today's the launch of Moon, so we'll have to wait to see what happens there. We won't have here.
Well, obviously tonight.
Yeah. We won't have access. I was just ran into our surveillance. Anyways. Somebody over there, and was telling me that we are actually extremely at Real Trading, extremely active, and you've already talked about this, Neil, a couple of times, in the blue ocean realm of things. So he was talking about that and how well sort of that's been going and the kind of volumes that we're doing as a firm over there. And so just really excited about it. We talked about that yesterday with all of you and Jeff and so on and so forth about Moon coming through. So that's the overnight trading there that you can obviously take part in over at OTC markets starting tonight, I hope. Anyways, not for our system. We will get locked and loaded up on that very, very soon. But for right now, no. NO on Moon for us. But watch out for Blue Ocean. Again, and that sort of gives you that opportunity, and we do talk about this quite often, obviously, here, to trade maybe outside of trading hours. And that gives you that little bit of a bump if there is news. Again, earnings, things could be hot throughout the days and whatnot. So, just have a quick look at all that stuff here. And I'm having a problem with an order entry, so I'm going to throw it over to you quickly.
Yeah, no worries. Obviously,
there it goes. No,
we've had a few hiccups here and there the last couple of days, but it's just usually
boo. All right.
Your stop orders, just you hit the refresh button. So VWAP is not going to happen. You got to be kidding me, Robinhood. I'm just going to cancel some bids when they're $1 away. I'm pretty much not going to care about them. I hate looking at trend reversals on stocks that I want to go to the upside. So all I'll look for here when I like the trend is a dip buy on the trend. Is what it is. That's where we're going with it. AMD, I know we alluded to this. Yesterday, I said I wanted to short $120. I feel like it's a little bit of a different story today. Now, obviously, you've had a couple of days worth of a rally. The trend is a little bit different from what we're seeing. At the open, you were kind of a one-day fade type of deal. Now you're higher low, break back out. I'd be inclined to be a little bit more bullish on AMD. The fact that it's up 3% when Nvidia's up 1.3 is another factor for me. So I'm staying away from this trade. This was the one that I missed at the open because it never got to 120. I am not touching this with a 10-foot pole. It just looks relatively strong compared to Nvidia right now, up that 3%. And Nvidia is still...
There's actually nothing better than that.
Nvidia is still, it hasn't closed. It's trying to close this candle green.
Nvidia sucks.
If it can, I'm all for it. But I'm not bullish on this stock yet. I can get there, but 1.2, barely holding on to VWAP. This can easily be that higher low that absolutely jams it out to 135. Just don't think that we're at that point yet on NVDA. So I don't necessarily want to chase this. I mean, now I'm jinxing it. I should look away from Nvidia because now it's losing the 133 altogether.
Yeah, man, stay away, Neil.
There might be something here on Intel because this is a stock that I can get with the short.
Yeah.
Same high as yesterday, lower highs underneath VWAP. This might be something on Intel. Forget that. Like I should be short a chip stock right now and not just QBTS. So it might just be Intel off 19.5. This is where it failed yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the market not acting great. We said that the potential for the NASDAQ was like a 21.4. We got to 21.360. That, I mean, 40 handles away, but then there's the flush. I mean, we were not looking short. So I'm still not really. I'm just looking to sort of maybe regroup a little bit. We still have about 7 or 8% or so of Tesla here. It's the one that's holding up, but in this talk, I'm going to get a piece out. So there it is. We get a piece out there at 74, your chicken dinner winner of the day. And as Neil mentioned there about being red on Nvidia, I'm flat on Nvidia. So just to that point, it's like we both had the same ideas down here. We basically both got out like on these breaks, but it's just like I took the long again, and it doesn't mean like, if that long doesn't work, then you're adding. So this is what I mean, and that's why it's important when Neil says like everyone has a different style. It's like I'm willing to lose again on that trade. That's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes we get stopped out, and then it's like that same level that we like. If it breaks again, and I'm still thinking long in the market, like that's the hidden piece of all of this. It's for me. If the market's really bleeding, like, and this move is associated with over here and the NASDAQ, and it's just like, okay, here we go, man. We were really, really starting to crank. Like, we didn't even break through VWAP. If the NASDAQ is under VWAP or under and it's really starting to go, then I'd be like, okay, let's stay away. That's why I put the stop order in. I'm not getting long unless it breaks back above 132. So it's not like we're catching those knives anymore. We're trying to play the exact momentum that happened. I mean, we'll lose, and that's what I'm saying to you. We'll be flat. Like right now, if we got out of everything right now, and I still have 25% left, we would be flat on Nvidia because we lost here. Like we had put on a big position. I told you at 132.30 when it came in, we were able to get a little bit out because we were panicking, and then it dropped out, and we got out at 132. Once it retakes that was a keystroke error because we thought we were in Tesla, which we were. That once it broke 132, that's when we re-engaged the trade. So I just wanted to go over that, and I'm going to get out a piece now at 47 right now to now put us green on the stock and go that 3 for 3. But that's the point: is you got to be careful on waiting to get back into knife that has been falling. We have now on Rigetti 10% left. So it's a very, very small piece here left on this name. And we sort of have the bottom of the day and sort of the top of the day. So it's been a good day on Rigetti, up 20% today. And we'll just continue to play the game. Were you in Intel? Because I was looking at that.
No, I haven't been in Intel yet.
I think that's setting.
I'm more focused on we get this close on Nvidia in 1 minute on the 15-minute chart. And it just did a bottoming tail candle underneath the 133. So if it's an over-under at 133, this is our spot. I'm actually on it now. Obviously, if it closes above and I can nibble in, then I can get the rest after 10 o'clock when we've confirmed. But that looks like a heck of a reversal candle to me with the higher low. So you have one big dip and then a hold of a higher low. You have a second one at VWAP at the level we like at 133. If you're wondering why do we like the level at 133, just pull your chart back a little bit further. You had resistance underneath yesterday. Go back to Friday as well. Bitcoin 99.5. We're going to get to 100,000, everybody, it looks like. So Nvidia is going to make that close. Just going to check
Tesla
back in on...
is $10 in the money right now on
TS
Tesla.
is still working. QBTS still refuses to go up. So I feel like this might be the right call. I don't know what's going on in Rigetti, but that battle at 6, they're still selling. Somebody is selling $6 heavily on QBTS. If this is an obvious, just take shots, scalping the short. If it breaks 610, reverse into the long. It's going to be that simple. Someone's selling a boatload of these shares at $6, so shorts underneath it, and then a long breakout above is going to be the play here as long as it lasts. At some point, QBTS is going to break away from this and go 10%. And I don't care which direction it is. I just want to be in the stock when it moves away from $6.
Like I go get a coffee, we're relaxing, we're talking about everything. This has been one of the better runs for me. In trading, basically, I feel like for my career now, we have really, speaking for myself, I mean, I've really adapted now to, I feel like, a style that we are really, really comfortable with. I mean, yesterday we banged out the trades yesterday. You know, let's just do this for Ozan. We like Ozan right there for that one. And then let's do this also for those of you that like clubbing, maybe like my guy Joe right there. We are now up $11 on this trade. Let's just get some more out at 117, Neil. Why not? $11 in the money plus another 2 on Nvidia sends us to the moon today. That's $13 in the money right now on these 2 names plus Rigetti. And we got a little bit of an action here at 134. Adara, what's good with you?
The S&P 500 is doing great here. We are up about almost 2% here on the SPY. NASDAQ faring pretty similarly here, up more than 2%. So NASDAQ leading the way. We did have some pretty well-received inflation data today. So CPI up for year-over-year and month-over-month coming exactly in line with expectations. Core CPI year-over-year and month-over-month, both 0.1% lower than expected. So slightly cooler core numbers here than we were expecting. JPM here and a lot of these banks on watch with earnings. We know that the bank reports usually signal the start of earnings season, so keep an eye on Goldman Sachs, JPM, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo just began their earnings call. We also have Affirm here on watch, AFRM. This one struggling a little bit here, but still on watch with an upgrade. And also Tesla, we do have on watch as well with those EV market share numbers here from Kelley Blue Book, which is a vehicle-related research firm. Tesla actually having the top 2 cars with the largest market share, guys. Back to you. And make sure to like and subscribe.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, so make sure you do hit that like and subscribe.
Actually, I should reshoot that because I don't pity the fool that doesn't hit the like or subscribe button.
He's just a fool.
No, because pity would suggest that I have sympathy for, but I don't think there's a reason why I should have sympathy at this point. Early on, yes, not anymore. We'll shoot a new one. I keep saying we will, and then Fabian and I don't actually lock up and get a new one going, which I do have some ideas for a theme, and we'll see. Are we ready, Fabian? No? Okay, you let me know. I'll get into it whenever it does happen. You just said 15 seconds, so we'll get to that in a quick little bit. So you follow a rule, and then right when that bar closed on the 15-minute, this is what happened. The second you got a new high break, it broke the local high on Nvidia. That's when order goes in for an entry point, and now you're heading higher. We can still try to join it. You now got an up-down move, which looks pretty solid to me, above that 134. I'm not going to take any 135 breakouts. QBTS is the one thing we're in. I am reversing this one. There's been a swath of sellers at 6. If they do it again, then I'm going to short on the way back underneath every single time. If it fails at 6, short back underneath. If it breaks 610, break out long. But the other thing you got to consider is if you are a trader but lacking capital, then prop firms offer you the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500,000, and you can start with as little as $200. Or $20, I should say, not $200, $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews. Explore payout histories and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan the QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop floor for yourself or firm for you. It doesn't have to be a floor. Most of them are going to be remote. So shout out to them. We do appreciate them. You can also check the link in the description of this video. The QR code is working for sure. So I said if we did not break the 6, we'd jump in and add again, and then try to take some out in the 570 range. We're pretty much at 98 right now. Each time it's gotten to $6, it's made a small break and then come back underneath. So I want to get it on weakness on the way down. That's the style of trade I want in the opening rush, so I'm going to be able to stick to that. Hopefully patience will pay off here with Nvidia. That's starting to pull back in. So we're not chasing 134. Going to play the first available dip here into VWAP on Nvidia. So you didn't want to chase it up there. We can always play the trend by buying said dip. So we're going to try and play the dip into VWAP now that it's confirmed some higher lows. Robinhood is now gonzo. So Hood is the one that got away. Yeah, Robinhood is absolutely gone. It's now 8-9% to the upside. Please tell me SoFi is doing the same thing. Please, SoFi. Damn it, SoFi is actually not looking very good. All right, that doesn't matter. I wasn't planning on trading it. I just don't like that price action in my long-term account on SoFi. The fact that it's not going today, I think, is of some concern myself on SoFi. I took some out recently. My question is, did I take out enough?
Oh, man, my question is, what the heck is going on with Bitcoin right now? We don't have any other questions right now. We are in the same positions that we've been in for about 20 minutes now, just letting them chill and you know, watching out. There it is right there, 99.4. Wow. As IBIT does its damn thing again. There it goes, man. We had Brian Shannon on yesterday talking obviously all about, not all about VWAP, but you know, one of those things again. And I like when there's gaps in these stocks, man, we just try to play it back to that infamous VWAP. And then when that happens, we celebrate, right? And it did that today. So a good little trade there on IBIT off of that level. But again, you had to be there. You had to like really expect, I feel like anyways, hard to predict Bitcoin bouncing, but that's why you gotta look for some of those levels and pick them when you see them, right? I mean, and right there, that VWAP was a play, but up to 56.8 again. Just looking, so all right. I mean, I think at this point, and again, you know, we're gonna have Joe come on. They talk about crypto on the midday show as well. What is the topic for today? All right, get back to me on that one right now. So
it's a surprise.
Exactly. I don't want to.
Unknown topic.
Right. Of course, we know what the topic is.
Dealer's
We're not
choice.
giving it to you.
Dealer's choice.
That's what it is, right? So, all right. So yeah, dealer's choice today. As I was giving Randy dealer's choice, and you're like peppermint. You know, remember that yesterday?
Wow.
Or 2 days ago. All right. So okay, let's just talk about Bitcoin.
But then he got analysis paralysis and couldn't pick a team.
I know. He got we were watching, what were we watching yesterday? I forget what it was. And then somebody who said they had it was an old Simpsons episode. And Lisa couldn't play her saxophone anymore. And I go, she has the yips. And then my wife was like, what the hell's the yips? Like, well, I only know it from sports, right? And it's just like, and all my kids are like, this guy's nuts. And then all of a sudden, Lisa's Googling it and trying to figure out like, what does it mean when all of a sudden I can't do something that I used to be able to do? And it just comes up, yips. And then my family's like, what the hell? I was like, so I actually finally looked smart to one of them.
We had a friend that had, I've seen the episode.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty serious thing. I mean, some of the pitchers get it as well, and some golfers.
There's a buddy of mine, and like I won't name any names. By the way, first I'll get to the story in a quick little second. So very quickly, QBTS, they managed to break it out. So I was only adding if it could fail the $6 level. Did not fail 6, reversed into the long break. This does have a lot of room to rally. Got to remember, this was an idea for originally short at this level, but it's got room 6 to 680. So this is about 60. It's about like it's a 10%. It's a 10% room to the upside. Well, I got to give it a little bit more room to the downside than we would have the short trade, because I think the short did not have as much juice to it. So I have to give this to at least underneath about 595 to make it work. Nvidia is trying to hold on, but we just got the dip by there. Let me just set my stop order. No, well, we had a friend of ours in baseball. His yips weren't that bad. It was just that the first practice of the year, when he was warming up, or the first couple of practices, Every single time, he's just airmailing everything.
Yeah.
And it was like, it would take him like 2 or 3 actual practices before he could throw a ball. And he threw a ball all his life. And it was kind of crazy to watch, but we would joke about it all the time. But,
it's not a funny thing in the next line that you say.
no, like just it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Okay, QBTS, let's join that party. I want to double check on Rigetti because if Rigetti is falling, okay, Rigetti's on trend. Rigetti's bouncing VWAP, so it's still going up. I think it looks good if the group is going. What I don't want to have happen on this reverse is Rigetti falling off, IonQ falling off, IonQ. Load, a little bit slower. I'm going to restart this PC. 25% up and at the high. So that makes me like the quantum plays a little bit better on the reversal. Nvidia, as I said, is trying to hold on to that dip. There's your higher low. On trend, at least for now, is Nvidia. And I am now involved in Intel. This is what's going on with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ took 2% at 21.4 and just continuing to absolutely rocket ship. Intel just put in another lower high on exactly the trend line down. Like that. So, I got to take that shot. I mean, if it's going to stay on trend down, then you can scalp inside of the range. It's kind of an easy out. If it breaks a couple of pennies higher, it's a $20 stock, so you can stop out for a couple of cents, and you can try to scalp 10 to 15 and then hold some for the dream if this just absolutely craters. So bit of a relative weakness play here on INTC. I see Hollows making some moves. I had one small cap that I wanted to trade today, and it was W. It was going to be that WNW. And I still want to take another crack at it. I was in and out for like a half-cent loss when it did this bottoming tail candle here, but it's trending to the downside here, and I don't think I want to jump to Hollow just yet. So we're still in names that we wanted from our plan of action, with the exception of Intel. That's a little bit of a new one because of its relative weakness.
All right, yeah. Again, we're trying to and I did some trimming there of the position on Nvidia. As it just went in through 134 back and forth a little bit there. So I wanted to have a quick look over there at NVDA and see, sort of if there was going to be, again, that hold the view up, as Neil was mentioning. I mean, we're talking about the same things a couple times here. So I just want to make sure that we watch out for those stocks coming and going. So, all right, NVIDIA, yeah, so that's the play. We'll see if it breaks back above 134. Hopefully it does, and if it does, we'll be there for that. So right now that's going to be NVIDIA trying to get backside trade there on that name. So that's going to be that. All right, SMCI was another name that I wanted to look at today, SMCI. So let's have a quick look right over there if we can. Hold on a second. I need to get, okay, that's fine. Out. So, all right, $31. We'll see if it can continue that move there, back up to 31.20. I think that's a good fade spot. But again, just because it's lower than the market, we also said that we were not certain of this market move here today. And what I mean by that is all right, the market's up 2% now. Is that going to hold? And we had both sort of mentioned that what we wanted to look at earlier on was exactly that fact. Are we going to hold this level on the day? And it looks like right here, up 2%. We talked about 21.4 maybe coming into play right there. Here's the NASDAQ, and there's 21.4 right into this level. The high spot would be 21.450 or so. So that would be something for me to potentially have a quick look at. If we do fade out from that 21 area, look to go short into 21.450. So I think you got another 60 or 70 handles upside, which puts the NASDAQ really mooning like up 2.5%. But if Bitcoin breaks, then, I mean, I think that could really help spark some of these names. I mean, you're seeing IBIT. I think you take out the high.
Holy Robin.
So that's 56.80. Robinhood's probably busting out. We have news.
Just be aware here of crypto. I'm not sure if this is going to be a huge news breaking catalyst just because we're so close to 100,000. It is worth noting Reuters out here reporting that Trump's new SEC leadership, being led here basically by Paul Atkins, as announced a while ago, is poised to kickstart a crypto overhaul, according to unnamed sources. We kind of expected that Mr. Paul Atkins would be a pretty bullish look for Bitcoin because he is viewed as pro-crypto, but regardless, Reuters reporting that there will be a crypto overhaul started by the new SEC administration led by Donald Trump. Guys, back to you.
An overhaul, I mean, that's just being a little bit dramatic.
You got to overhaul it, man. Yeah, we'll wait to see. I mean, I think we're all waiting for those.
Sound regulation is smart.
When does that all
Nothing's getting
happen? Like, when do you
overhauled.
start to get all that appointing? Because, like, he's going to be in there.
It can happen pretty fast. A lot of
Right.
things can happen. You can start making announcements. You get to have confirmations for a lot of like the big positions, but things can start rolling pretty quickly after the 20th. It's just obviously the 20th is going to be a holiday, so like the second he gets inaugurated, literally nothing's going to happen until the following week. But I like crypto in this space. We keep getting to this 100,000 level, and I'm gonna show you Robinhood in a quick little second because it's setting up one heck of a trend reversal. This is IBIT, and it just broke trend and couldn't break 100K. So 100K is probably around 57 something and change. I'd have to double check exactly what it is, but Robinhood is unabated right now. And if it's gonna dip to VWAP, I mean, it's gotta get there first. If we don't break 100K, this is a pretty good opportunity. This is past 10 o'clock. So mean reversion trade, close underneath the bar, give it to the high, risk 15 pennies, VWAP's $1 away. It's probably that simple. QBTS is chilling. I was able to get something out there in the 20s, but the high is not 33, which I see on my chart. I think it's like the 22. So it's kind of like 10 cents in the money. Right now, it's pretty much at that same breakout price. But here we go on Robinhood. It's probably going to close this bar underneath this mean revert, and then I will take a shot. But this is one of those trades that I like the long better, but that's just a parabolic move up, and I want to take my shot here, stop there. Even if it gets to 45, that's good enough. Let's go to Adara and take her some biz.
This part of the show is brought to you by Worksport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Back to you.
WKSP.
People are all about clean energy these days. I think it's a good idea.
Well, I would hope so. And you're going to need all kinds of energy sources. I don't want to say necessarily clean energy sources for the data center build out that's going to be happening. That's why I like nuclear. I think you can't sleep on traditional. Oil is going to look good as well. So just a couple of updates. One, the market does not have any 15-minute red candles since the open. I mean the NASDAQ. I haven't looked at the Dow or the ES. And Intel just continues to do the same thing. So until it breaks this trend, going to hang on to these shorts. But it's been doing lower highs. The second it breaks out the local high, give it a penny or two, and then we'll just jump out of Dodge. Robinhood will put on a mean revert. Nvidia has yet to do anything crazy. It's just holding the trend since it made that higher low off of 133, but you still have 135 to reckon with. Like 135 up in here, that would have been yesterday's open range resistance. I think you get there, take a couple outs in front of the high of the day, take one in front of 135, then hold for 136 on Nvidia. So it's finally making a bit of a move. Kyle Burdett, thank you for the super chat, brother. I don't know what this one. I swear I thought turkeys could fly.
Oh, I know that reference.
Adara gets that reference. I feel like I should know it, but I don't.
Yeah, it's that WKRP in Cincinnati I just heard there.
Well, I know the show. I've
Put
never
WKRP there. Yeah,
I've never watched that show. I know the show. I never watched it though.
All right, more cash. Oops, yeah, there's the cash out sign. More cash outs. Okay. I mean, it's getting better. You have to have that, first of all. I mean, right now, Tesla's $12, Neil, in the money, up to $4.18, and continuously going. Oh boy, if we had, I mean, ifs and buts, but that would have been, oh man, why do we get out so much so early? But that's the style of trading. We get a lot out at $4.13, so we actually get most of our outs there, $7, $8. But now you're 12 and still going, and then Nvidia's caught something underneath itself as well there today, and that is still going. So we're on this name today, and it's been a good day of trade. So hopefully you guys are still there and still watching. For everybody that is on board with us now, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We have free watch list. Follow us all over Twitter right now. Hit the share button and all of that. I feel like. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. All your friends. Yeah. We always talk about all the friends and family discount as well if you do that. So yeah, hit it all. Get going right now on all of this, man. Rigetti, just to check back in. Quantum still holding out good. There's the VWAP trade again. So you could have had that right there at 1060 again, right there on Rigetti. So, just being not even distracted, but, watching out for different things and really resting. And that's part of what I've been doing lately is having these monster wins. Like right now, we're at about 2.5 times our daily goal that we try to set for ourselves. So that's another way to monitor what's been going on, right? Is because if you on average make a certain amount of money, you want to make sure that you don't on average lose more than that amount of money as we continue to talk about, day trading as a career and as a successful venture. You never want to be, and some days this will happen, right? For example, for today, you'll have your losers that are bigger than your winners. Right? If that happens to you, sure, as long as it's controlled, right? I mean, you just want to be able to live to see another day and keep on going. So what's up, Elon? Morning, Sean. What should we watch out if Nvidia breaks 134.69? So, always watch out. The upside break right now, I really like the futures up 2.3%. We only have long ideas today on our board. So if you're asking me about longs, I'm going to say yeah. To all of that talk. So for right now, yeah, I do like the longs, and I think that you're going to be okay if you look at that as a break.
134 half, or is that 135?
Yeah, he wants the very top there. I don't. He's saying 134.69. So
I have 70.
Rate, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, 70s. Actually, I'm looking exit liquidity on the break. The breakout happens, and then exit liquidity on those that take the break. That would give you fills into that range in front of 135. So I'm kind of thinking stay on trend with that bad boy. Now QBTS is starting. The volume is finally starting to kick back up on this. Let me just show you guys the vol. It's a little bit extreme, but better idea. It was actually dwindling on volume as we got back into that high. Now it's starting to curl back to the upside. So volume coming in. The other quantum names have already gone, but now it's starting to come in here. So I have an order in front of 640s. We'll make sure we get some out there, and we'll go to the small cap recap with Adara. I am aware that Hollow is moving, everybody.
Before we get to the small cap recap, there actually is a catalyst here for GM, which did get some volume and is pushing higher. Basically, we have the National Highway Traffic Safety Association. That's the same group that will issue those over-the-air recalls or updates for Tesla. They basically have said they've ended their probe into GM's Cruise robo-taxis that had been going on for a while here. They basically said that they've closed their investigation and they're not going to be taking further action against the company. So GM getting that nice volume spike to the upside, bit of a rounded bottom on that news. But let's get a look at some of these small caps here, starting with BKYI. This is BioKey. It is a ticker like a lot of these small cap runners. It's run before. BioKey, great look here, announcing that they are basically having their Portal Guard platform deployed by the National Bank of Egypt. So BKYI with about a 13% short float on watch. Then we have Rigetti. We're getting all of these quantum names actually coming back to the upside after a pretty rough tumble last week when Jensen Huang said that he thinks we're about 15 to 30 years from a practical quantum computer. Now, though, Nvidia, Jensen Huang's company, is starting this. They're going to have Quantum Day on March 20th as part of their GSC conference. So keep an eye here on RGTI. Then we have Quantum Corp, QMCO. This ticker is not a quantum name, but it does run in sympathy because of its similar name to a lot of these quantum tickers. So QMCO, zero catalyst, near days highs at $34. And it's worth noting for this one as well, we have about a 30% short flow, guys.
I thought that was the one that had I thought QMCO had some kind of a connection to Nvidia. I'll double check that. It was you guys in the chat that I think were mentioning that the other day when we were talking about that particular name. But if anyone in the chat remembers the name of the stock that had quantum in it, and it wasn't technically a quantum stock, but they had a bit of a deal with Nvidia, let me know if that's actually that QMCO, because that would be of interest. I think that could get some juice because Nvidia is now trending to the upside. So even if it's not a quantum name going with the other ones here, QBTS 32%, Rigetti bajillion percent. If Nvidia is going up, and it does have a reason if it's connected to them sentiment-wise, you want to pay attention to that. So no top break yet on Nvidia. We're able to get some out in front of the high. Just want to be careful if this does. You got some higher lows in here. Like you are making a general trend. Feel like if it breaks the trend, the reloads have to be deep into VWAP and of course that 133 level. So let's just be a little bit patient with it. QBTS is now starting to play its catch-up game. It just tagged the 35 level, so that's the offer in front of the 40s. I think ultimately still looking for 680 in here. I said I wanted to short that level. If we got to 680, said we'll over under $6. So we shorted it initially, and then we reversed into the long, but we're playing for this 675, 680 level. Has to get to 50 first. I'm going to get an offer in front of the 50. Make sure every single quarter that we're getting something out there, maybe even every 10 cents. We'll see what else is going on. No, it's QSI. Thank you very much, Andrew David in the chat. It was QSI, not QMCO. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for double checking all of that, guys. All right. So just on that Nvidia, I'm going to take some more out right now. JP Morgan. Let's take a look at some of the banks to see what they're doing today. So here goes JP Morgan again. All right. So up that 1%. So kind of a snooze fest. If you didn't look at it, you wouldn't know anything different. I mean, it's basically right where it opens up. VWAP not really holding. So I don't really like that name. We did talk about potentially one of the better names being Citigroup. And yeah, I think that was pretty good right off the open. It does hold VWAP and still near the day's high. So if we, when we were asked to pick our poison, we did that. We picked it with Citigroup. And it looks like that would have been the one there, bouncing off VWAP. So I'd say you want to look for a 77 retrace over there as well. Just checking out on the sticky note and what we were doing on that. SoFi, I'm going to slap a fail. I don't have any trades. I don't think you do either on this one, but nothing really happening in SoFi. I still am bidding that down here at the 200 period. If it does come in, I just want to indicate that is another trade idea that I do have on board. So if that does break through there on SoFi, I think I like that trade coming in at 15 or so. If that comes in, but I'm still bidding 12, so maybe we'll up it just a little bit. Look, I don't know what's going on with Tesla, but like if we can let's just put just a magical number of 420. Let's just do that. So let's just go to 420.00, put out another offer right there. If it rips up there, it rips up there. This trade is $13 now, and it's just like still looks like it wants to go. I mean, Rigetti looks like it still wants to go. We talked about it maybe a stop out, or potentially this was where we would stop. I can't believe we were long $6 this yesterday, but down there at 11, talk about a swing trade, down there at 11.30. I mean, we already broke through that daily of 11.10, so that's already gone. Nvidia, we already talked about it. So, I mean, it's like on to the next. We indicated a little bit of Intel action maybe. So again, JP Morgan, I like Citigroup back to 77 if that hits right now. The market's up 2.2%, maybe looking now for a little bit of a retracement in the futures, potentially now. I don't know, but we're at that 21.4 level that we've dinged a couple times. We can go short TQs against 81. Why don't we do that potentially right now? So we do want to get out of some of the positions before we do that, though. Let's get out some more right now. Let's get out at 32s, some more here on Nvidia in case we do turn around. We'll still hold a little bit, but maybe we focus on shorting the futures against this top of 21.4.
21.4 in that future, 2.25%. The ES also doing some power moves. You're still not breaking 100K yet on Bitcoin, but I feel like it's still relatively strong. Here, I'll quickly show you. High that it breaks out of Robinhood, mean revert. It's holding the line. Every time I look over, if there's a small bounce in Bitcoin, Robinhood makes a move up. If it tapers off a little bit, it makes a bit of a move back into the downside. So look, 100,000 could break, and Robinhood's already broken the high, and that just sort of is what it is. But you've kind of made this false breakout, not a false breakout, but this false take through 99.5, and until we regain that, I want to respect the mean revert. It's just Robinhood was a parabolic mover to the upside. Nvidia, for that top break, it's just not happening. So Nvidia, I'm in here at 34s. We took the dip. We took the higher low dip buy, and it cannot seem to break out that high of the day. But the plan is still to have it break the high, get some exit liquidity out in front of 135, and then go from there. QBTS, just to go over the positions here, QBTS tagged 640 and is now coming back in. VWAP sits at 590. So I was able to scalp some out. Now we look to see if we can hold on to VWAP here. It's still an over-under at $6, and VWAP is right around that $6 level, so we can take a dip buy into QBTS. That's pretty much it. If there's something else you guys are looking at, let us know. I know that Hollow was a big mover. SOUN, apparently, according to Tobes in the chat.
Tobes.
Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, sound, you know this one's going to move when Nvidia moves. A lot of times it's going to do that. But 13%, sheesh. Well, that explains it. That's a technical hold if I've ever seen one. I mean, if you got long in this stock, I can't see. Like, this is exactly the same move all the quantum stocks made yesterday. Go back into prior high or prior support, go right back into a 50-period moving average, and catch a bit of a dead cat rally. So there you go. Pretty good technically. I don't know why I have a line here drawn at 15, but that's probably old. Yeah, you're a little bit top heavy in here, but I like that look there on SOUN. There's no way I would have looked at these over quantum. But if you happen to be, you're looking very, very solid. So just came back into the highs. This wick bottom is 45.67. So I feel like I got in and do not have the price I want, took the trend reversal, but usually want my entry price to be in here, which would be 45.67. I'm short at 57, so it's like 10 cents extra risk to the high of the day. So I'd say it's a bit of a misjudgment there, but it's still within the bit of the range. I'm not getting anything out until we test this bottom at 45 1/3. So I'm not looking for 10-cent scalp on this trade. Let's get the crypto update because 99.7, Adara.
99.7 indeed. If you're looking for crypto plays in this space, MSTR might be a good place to start because they've been bouncing off VWAP on the 15-minute chart since the open. Bitcoin, though, also bouncing. Like, look at this beautiful crescendo up from that intense drop we had on Monday morning. We get just below that 90 level, and then we push higher. Next resistance for Bitcoin, I would argue, is not even 100,000 because the last breakthrough of 100,000, this would be back on January 6th, was pretty uneventful. It just kind of popped up. So I think what we want to see now is a higher high on the daily chart. That would be just above 102.5. So that's what you want to watch out for. Also here, just be aware, we do have comments from Fed's Barkin coming through saying the latest CPI, the ones we got today, suggests that there is still a decline in inflation. So slightly dovish remarks coming from Fed's Barkin. But yeah, Bitcoin, great look here. Also be aware too, as we mentioned earlier, Reuters reporting that Donald Trump's new admin here specifically for the SEC will usher in some crypto overhaul. Just be aware of that. Also here, let's be aware of some of these other tickers. XRP up 15%, so that's certainly one to keep an eye on. We know that anything related to the SEC that is not Gary Gensler is very bullish for XRP because Gary Gensler and Ripple were kind of in battles for a while there in courts. So great look for XRP. Ethereum up about 4% as well. Solana and Doge up about 5%. Cardano up 8%. There's very little here that is red or that is not exponentially to the upside, guys. Let's see if we get that Bitcoin break, and make sure to like and subscribe.
Down on it. Okay, so we do engage in a new position right now. I mean, we're just trying to watch it. We still have we still have Tesla, but we got, so again, which might have been a wrong move. We got out of some Nvidia there. It did dip down into 134, but the problem is we were 14 to 15 handles in the money on the futures handles, but we didn't take it. So the VWAP, the 50 period is right there. We'll look to see if we can get something on that 50 period moving average. Hopefully there'll be something there for us, right? But if there's not, there's not. So we'll wait to see on the TQs in and around that area, the 50 period moving average. I like that. We'll see if it does play for us. So right there, we are bidding some low 60s, then we're bidding some 50s, and then down into here into around $80. So we'll see if there's any sort of love back in there for that. So yeah, that's our play right now as we wait to see what's going to happen here in the broader markets as the NASDAQ just kind of hangs out, right? Crypto is the one to look at. We just talked about maybe playing some IBIT on the breaks, but I don't know. It's kind of breaking right now some different levels. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now with IBIT.
It's consolidating.
IBIT is?
Yeah, like it's consolidating. Well, I mean, Bitcoin is consolidating off of that high. Like it's just holding, no breaks, just steady dips. If it doesn't break out, I feel like it doesn't. Like Robinhood off this high for the reversion is basically whatever Bitcoin does, I think, at this point. Like if Bitcoin breaks 100, this stops out the top. Or it could just do it anyways. But if Bitcoin actually does a reasonable pullback, this is going to, I think this flushes into VWAP. But it's Nvidia. Nvidia just tried to run the top again and then failed to do so. So here it comes back into VWAP as we speak. Yeah, we'll see if we can get back into some intel to the short side there. Jay Lee, short Rigetti, you just said.
Yeah.
But I'm not really there with the quantum names. I'm looking for VWAP to come back in on the quantum names. So eyeballing this Bitcoin at the 100,000 and asking myself if I want to just go to Mara, which usually I would short Mara in a case like this, but it's so bullish today. Like the stock is so bullish, and it hasn't done any kind of a mean reversion. Like it hasn't broken trend. And I don't like shorting parabolic moves up unless it's a trend reverse. So I guess I can't do it until it breaks this trend on Mara.
All right, Mara going. Yeah, look, I'm just, we were trying to look at, okay, so here he goes, the TQs. So nice little move back down into the downside here. Let's see if it wants to work out. There's a fill. We'll take that 15 handles. We talked about that. So hopefully we can get that, now maybe to settle down just a little bit here on the TQQs. So let's get going on that name. All right, 1950 on Intel looks like a possible break. Is there anything else you guys want us to look at right now? Palantir, maybe. I just saw that name in the chat. Let's have a quick look to see what's going on over here on Palantir. Again, name I like, but we already talked about that 68 level. Wow, it got up to 69 again. This is one of the picks that I was thinking about for the new year. I just feel like it's been beat up a lot and does have enough room to run in order to make a little bit of money on it if you're not in it yet. I still do like Palantir. I think there's some good potential here for that name. So a dip into the 200 period, another decent buy. Did Citigroup get into that level? No, not yet.
It's about to get to VWAP now.
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer. That's like 77.25 right now. So we'll have to have another quick look over here.
Goldman's the same chart.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of like...
Goldman VWAP is exactly at $600. Exactly at $600.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, that might be the one. I knew this might happen. I should be trading Mara instead underneath 100,000 on Bitcoin because Robinhood can break the high without Bitcoin doing anything. It's not the right proxy. It's the wrong one. Like Mara should be, like Mara's going to make those moves a little bit better. You reject the high on Bitcoin and Mara comes off a little bit, which is a very different story from Robinhood, which I came in as like literally the stock I wanted to go long in, then play a mean reversion on it. But yeah, Mara should be the one here. But also those bank names pulling back into VWAP. I think you pick your poison. Citi looks pretty good. We already talked about the 600 level on Goldman Sachs. The one that doesn't look the same is Wells Fargo because it never broke the high. So Wells Fargo is the only one that didn't make a new high on that last little push up. Goldman Sachs much, much stronger. Straight upside, and now a bit of a reversion back into what I think is going to be the 600 level. Still nothing doing on Nvidia. If it doesn't go soon, like you got to ask yourself, like put up or shut up. Like, are we pulling back into VWAP for reload, or are we breaking out that top? Make up your mind, Nvidia, because this is the one I want to be able to go here, and it just doesn't want to do so on Nvidia. Oh, that's what I did. No. All right, let's get back in. Did not actually add on QBTS in front of VWAP.
Yeah, there's we're going to talk about eSignal in a minute, but that's why the thing is like you need those scanners, right? Because like you're going to miss out on trades that are potentially there. So yeah, get ready to enhance your trading experience with, of course, the best of the best. That's going to be eSignal. Scan that QR code below and get involved today with eSignal. Again, a platform that allows you to. Are you going to run it, or you just want to? Okay, there he is. Thank you very much, Fabian, for that. Again, a platform that, in our estimations, is one of the best. Neil, could you take this over if possible? Right there, I can't.
No worries. Look, if you're looking to scan for opportunities, ideas, if you're looking to be able to take any single indicator out there, test for its veracity for your strategy, back test, forward test, all those tools are available to you with reliable quotes, and I can't stress that enough. The reliability that if the market is open and you are trading, eSignal is going to be there for you. I cannot remember a time when if there's issues at eSignals, there's issues market-wide with data. And that's generally been true as long as I've been around the markets. But shout out to eSignal. Do remember tick replay is a very valuable resource. We talk about this on breakout trades and liquidity trades. You don't know what liquidity is like until you're in a liquidity event, and you want to be able to replay them so you can go back and refine your trading. Scan the QR code you see right in front of you. Check the link in the description for eSignal there. There's QBTS. Now, see, here's the thing.
I mean, there's futures. That's what we were going.
Now, I might have had an accidental stop out there, but the plan was not to be out unless it lost VWAP. So, yeah, I jump back in at the same price, then move my stop to VWAP. I'm going to lose an extra 5 cents on the trade. But the rule was VWAP. VWAP is a bit of a moving target, and I kind of misread it there on QBTS. Nvidia, so the market just came back in. Nvidia caught a bid. That's good. I always want to see that happen. So Nvidia holds trend while the market did a little bit of a dip. But it's got to run the highs. We need to break this high of the day on Nvidia. It's great to have relative strength, but you got to do a little bit more than that. And I want to thank Drucifer. Is that right?
That's the best.
Yeah, it's Drucifer on the chat for the super chat, or otherwise known as Dunlop. Or Dulop, sorry. Dulap?
I like
Dulap. Thoughts on Meta? Well, without having looked at the chart today, I can tell you in a general sense I like Meta. But I haven't looked at the chart today. So let's do that right now. No, I like Meta. The August Black Monday, this was a stock I bought on my personal account on Black. That August low was this. And, you know, it was a missed opportunity on Apple, I think, that day. But Meta, 50-period moving average. If you like the stock, you buy it at the 50-period and you don't look back. And I think that's been the case for Meta for the last couple of weeks now. You haven't really broken out of the range, so it's been a range 50-period to the high. This looks really, really good today. Can't argue. We just talked about Nvidia continuing to go higher when that market did a little bit of a pullback. What more can you ask for? Meta's doing exactly the same thing. Market does a bit of a dip off the highs. Nvidia continues higher. This is exactly what you want to see for an upward trending stock. So, yeah, I think you've got yourself, I'm making the assumption that you're long if you're asking the question because the market's going up and you're asking about a stock when it's at its high of the day. So, yeah, I think you got yourself a good one here with Meta. Still some room to go. I'd watch out for, it's this time of day where you've got to watch these trend reversals. So you maybe not buy the high of the day. I still think that can be a thing. And Daryl Flinch still holding the AMD short.
Daryl is?
Oh, I knew it. 120. No, it is. I said I wasn't taking the short at 120 today. This was the level yesterday that it just never happened. We never got up to the 120. As far as I'm concerned, AMD's in the penalty box until it really proves us wrong that the stock is a short. You know, like it's a short till it's not. As far as I'm concerned, you can see the downward trend. You break this trend on an AMD, and that is the day that I start favoring the long trades on it. But today, I did say I wasn't going to short the 120 today. I would slap a huge fail on myself because that was pretty darn good. But like I said, it's a mean reversion type play. If you're making higher lows into this pullback in the market, great. That's Nvidia. But if we don't break this high, I should be taking something out in front of that high. I think we have to respect this high of the day. You got to break it now. You don't break this double top now, then I'm going to take another piece out and wait for VWAP on Nvidia.
Yeah, I don't even know. And thanks for covering. I just wanted to, right there, we did get, so the futures did move down into that level right there again. So you got to watch out for that. What we were also looking at was FMCC right here. It just had a pretty dramatic move. So we were actually tried to buy that bottom there. We just had a couple trades in there, a little bit of a stop there, and then back and forth. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we brought that to you earlier. It is starting to move around a little bit. So watch out for that one. Tesla's still $10 in the money, but Adara is over at the big screen.
I suspect this will be a very short sector watch because pretty much every sector is sharply green. We have lots of strength here in electronic technology and technology services, though it's worth noting here, Honeywell over here in electronic technology, they're red on the day. They are actually a larger cap quantum play. So as a lot of these smaller cap quantum tickers run on some initiatives from Microsoft and Nvidia, HON actually to the downside here. All the Meg 7s are green, Amazon and Tesla holding up their respective sectors. Finance, though, also really strong. A lot of these bank names running in sympathy on earnings from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup. Consumer services, commercial services, producer manufacturing, utilities, transportation, all green. But health services a little weak here ahead of UNH earnings tomorrow morning. And health technology a little bit mixed as well, guys. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Adair. Appreciate it. So Nvidia did make that run. So right in here, it did wick the high. I said I'd get some out if it wicked the high. It did wick the high and come back in. We're still going to hold on to the long and look for the next available dip. The trend is different from VWAP than it is from, obviously, the highs. So I think you hold on to the VWAP trend. You could maybe dip back into 134. That would be pretty reasonable. That QBTS is starting to accelerate a little bit. So it hasn't convinced me that it's the under part of the over-under yet. I'm not there. I still feel like if you can hold on to VWAP with this little bit of a wick and still be good, especially with the market finding some strength and finding a little bit of pep in its step. So I don't want to give up on QBTS just yet. That WNW, this was the small cap that I'm watching. Well, you really got to zoom in here. So it just pulled back in. I took one long here. You can't even see the out, but it's like right in the same candle. Like I said, risking 0.7 cents, I think it was, something along those lines. But it's got a nice little push back into VWAP. Somebody's selling it at 40 cents. There's a bit of a wall there. If it does catch another push down, and doesn't get to VWAP, which I said I wanted to short VWAP, I might just take the 40 cents. It's 2 cents difference on this stock, whether you short 40 or whether you short 42. So it's not a huge difference on this particular name. So we'll see what happens. Nvidia is starting to look okay, but that QBTS, I'm not going to give up just yet. We're back above VWAP. I think you're starting to revert that trend. And as I see it, let me see if I can get something just at that 5.95 to 6 level. Bit of a rounded bottom. Don't mind getting out and then trying to get in with the same or similar stop on QBTS. Let's go to the desk again with Adara.
Bit of an interesting note here coming from Sean Duffy, who is President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to be the U.S. Department of Transportation head. Basically saying here, as we know, there are some confirmation hearings with the Senate right now. Rivian getting a topping tail, though, because this individual here, Sean Duffy, potential head of transportation, saying that, quote, electric vehicles should pay fees to use roads. So keep an eye on some of these EV tickers as we get a little bit of an interesting take from the potential head of the U.S. Department of Transportation, guys.
What?
All right, so yeah, I mean, these are just, I mean, whatever. If they're going to build more roads, I don't know. Taxes is what it is. Okay, so we did get into another position. And by the way, guys.
That's a terrible, whatever. We don't get into
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that either. Today, Nvidia, check. That's a big win. Rigetti, come on. Big win there. SoFi, we're in it. We're waiting. So we're long at 11s. We told you where we were bidding. So there it is right there. So we're only in the money 6 cents, but we'll take a little piece out there, nothing much. And then the futures, let's go on the futures, guys. And again, this one, I'm gonna take another piece out right here. We had talked about this trade, right? Where was our stop? If we can recall, we were gonna get stopped at 81 break. That's 20 cents. So a nice downside move. Hey, what's up, Randy? A nice downside move there again as we start to go lower and lower right now. Oh boy, this is another trade on the futures right there. Now 30 plus handles in the money and trying to go just a little bit lower. We'll see if we can get out of this. We are out of half of this trade, actually out of a little more, out of about 60% of this trade right now as we look to get a little bit lower. Our best outs were 40s on this name. We'll see if it can get there. All right, SoFi is what it is. Rigetti, and then Tesla, Randy. We bought 406. Okay. We sold 416s. That's $10, $11. It does go $13 in the money, but it bounces off of 420. So in what is the biggest, yeah, we saw, we conquered. Good point there, Fabian. That is exactly what happened. We stepped out into that, and there it goes right now. The most money I've maybe ever made on Tesla. Besides maybe that rebalance day. So there it is right there on TSLA. So yeah, good, pretty good trade there and happy with that result. So yeah, so far so good there. Rivian, huh?
Is it? I haven't checked.
Well, Rivian, Tesla up 5. We can check out Rivian. You want to check out Rivian?
6%?
Go over and Neil. Oh yeah, you have it.
Go to 15, Rivian. Oh, baby. Yeah, 14, 12, 14, 20 high of the day right now on Rivian. 5%, looking good. It held the line. It didn't quite get to that 12.75 on the daily that we liked, but hold on to $13. I think that looks, hey, it's reverted this move back in. You like to see this. Higher highs with the same support level. Why not retest it? Forget about 15, Rivian. You should be trying to get to $16 on RIVN. D-Wave, not qubits. So initially doesn't hold V-Wave, then it doesn't hold VWAP, then it does. So now it is holding VWAP, and suddenly looks a heck of a lot better for a bit of a reversion the other direction. Like reverted down, now it's reverting back into the upside. Do want to respect, remember that 610 where it originally broke back out? Try to respect that. There were sellers all the way in the pre-market at that level. Then my default assumption is there's probably going to be some sellers there again. So I want to make sure we're scalping some out in front of it. There was a buy imbalance on D-Wave, but there was also one on Big Bear. And worth noting, it's got the same looking chart on Big Bear AI. Similar, reversal play with AI, quantum, all of those did the same kind of reversal, and then bouncing off the 50 period. All these did almost exactly the same thing. Let's go to Adara. We've got news.
Be aware some of these social media tickers, Meta actually about to have a bit of a flat top break, up 4% on the day. TikTok announcing they're planning an immediate U.S. shutdown on Sunday if the Supreme Court does not halt the federal ban. Users will receive data download options and ban information pop up. But either way, just to know, Meta looking really strong here heading into that breakout. Watch out for Pinterest and Snapchat as well in this catalyst, as well as potentially Google, because GOOGL does have YouTube, which is one of the sites that people are likely to go towards should the ban go through, guys. Back to you.
Way more.
Someone that's on it. We were just talking about Mr. Beast, who will be your next owner of TikTok, I believe. We'll see.
I would
He's trying
say-
to get a bunch of money together.
No, it's infinitely more probable than Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because there's just no chance the regulators ever allow things like that.
That's the other thing.
You got to know how they
They
operate.
barely let him buy Twitter to begin with.
Yeah, like come on, they're not letting. And look, I have nothing against like what it is. What it is. Like I'm neither here nor there. Like would I want Elon to own TikTok or not? I don't use TikTok, so I don't have a dog in the fight. I just think from a realistic standpoint, the second I heard that story, I'm like, why does that even make any sense? But these headlines, they're not hurting Meta.
Nope.
You know, like all of this, you can say whatever you want about this. I think Google does fine, obviously. Meta does fine. Snapchat is, I think, is a bit of a different story because everything I hear from my nephews, well, one nephew that uses it and then a niece that uses it as well, is that Snapchat's not much of a thing anymore, but I'm old, so I don't know. It's up 8%. I'm just more skeptical about Snapchat because someone's selling the boat here at $13. So, yeah.
I think Snapchat.
Popular in India? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's popular here too. I mean, my kids are still on it. I mean, they're sending snaps to each other all the time.
Don't they all use the gaming stuff to communicate now? Like,
yeah, there's a bunch of
like you can talk
the
on,
world is a funny place right now. Yeah, you can talk on Discord now.
Discord, Reddit.
Yeah.
Name your gaming platform or game, I guess, in general, and that's where the kids are going to be talking. You got to watch out for it. There's some stuff on Roblox I was learning.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of stuff. I mean, anytime there's going to be all that sort of...
Don't call after 3 a.m. There's I don't know, whatever. There's this...
They do a good job of blocking games and stuff. I feel like it's the... like, you have to sign up to let your kids be part of, like, the vocal, like the chat. That, to me, can get dangerous. Because, like, you don't know who's on there, right? Anybody can sign up for an account. And I don't know. And, you know, to everybody, like, to me, that's not... Like, it is important, but, I mean, our kids, you know, I just feel like it's the most important thing is to teach your kids the right things. And then hopefully they'll be able to react appropriately when the right time is there. I mean, that's how I'm, you know, living my life with my kids. It's just like, hey, look, I'm going to trust you guys.
Give them
and, just go for it and make me proud, not the other way around. And as long as that keeps happening, then I am good with that. And I think it's balance too, right? I mean, I think you got to have balance with your kids, and you can't just say no this, no that. Like, you have to let them do some stuff. But anyways, okay. So SoFi not really reacting the right way. If this breaks through $15, we are now below the 50-period moving average. We could have our first loss on this. We didn't get out of that much, man. It only went up to 16 cents. That was the high that we got. So we went 11 to 16s, and we're only out of like 20%. So I'm hoping for a bounce in SoFi. It's actually a little disappointing. The market, I mean, it's not disappointing. We're, like I said, we made more money today on Tesla than I think we ever have. So for myself. So I feel like we did really, like whenever that's the case, I think you did really well. And it's not I'm just talking about that. Again, there's I'd say most of the traders that traded Tesla today probably had made more than me anyway. So it's not about how much you make. What I'm talking about is the ability to kind of hold this, let this kind of trade happen, and then like that out is 12, that out is 15, that out is 17. So it's like instead of getting out every 50 or 60 cents, we were getting out of every $1 or $2. So it's like that makes a huge difference. So I'm really noticing that. And we talk about, you know, changing and getting better and getting worse as traders. I feel that the more reps that we get on these active names in this kind of a market, the better it is. And we have so much more to come. I mean, this is just the beginning of many of these bumps, right? Like once Trump is around, you're going to just start hearing some crazy stuff, man. I feel like all about different regulations. And one day this is going to happen for EVs. The next day there's going to be some sort of a play in the chip names. And by the way, right now, it's Nvidia. Right now, what's up, Ozan? There's the cow for you, my guy. Right now, it's 1, it's 2, it's $3 in the money on Nvidia. So we'll go 11 in the money on Tesla. 9 in the money on Tesla. We're about 11 in total. And then Nvidia right now 3. So we'll take another piece out right there on Nvidia and put that one right up there as it goes right into the high of the day. Good call. Whoever that was before that had said, what about Nvidia near the highs? We go bang right there and we hit that. So there it goes. You did hear your name, Ozan. And what's up, Kyle Burdett? Thank you so much for all the support. And I'm guessing Wow, this Nvidia trade, man, that's a face slapper right now. Palantir not doing much. This might be the next one to go. I'm really proud of the damage that we did on the futures, man. That was a pretty brave call. I like that one for sure. We'll get out if it breaks maybe above the 50 period as we're getting light on the tooth here. We got to get ready to go. But let's go over, and then we'll come back and see what Neil's talking about. We're a little bit late on Money Talks.
Great uptrend here on the wider frame for the daily chart here for the U.S. dollar with these higher highs and higher lows continuing from that base in late September. But we've actually been in a 3-day losing streak for the U.S. dollar. And I think certainly the fact that we had another slightly softer than expected inflation print today did not help matters for the DXY. Once again, market popping up, DXY pipe popping to the downside on this weaker inflation. It's worth noting, though, this CPI print was actually completely in line with expectations. However, the core prints were slightly lower than expected. We know core inflation is something that a lot of these Fed speakers, for example, Michelle Bowman, have spoken about watching particularly closely as of late. So you definitely want to keep an eye on some of these core prints. These core prints certainly well received by the market and potentially poorly received here by the U.S. dollar. We did have some Fed speak as well. Barkin saying around 10 a.m. that he sees basically confidence that we are continuing to see inflation go down. We also have comments from Fed's Williams at 11 a.m. and Fed's Goolsbee at 12 p.m. However, at 11 a.m., another thing to watch for the market, but also for the U.S. dollar is Citigroup earnings. They're going to be having their earnings call at 11 a.m. a little bit late here for C. Guys, back to you.
So they're going to change the government. Oh, thank you very much, sir. We were just again talking about
like what you can and can't hold in registered accounts.
Yeah, like our
yeah, go ahead.
No, our TFSAs, which is our tax-free savings account here in Canada, we're unable. Like I can't. Neither one of us. Like we can't go into like an OTC name. And like, look, you're gonna allow like you fill out a few forms and anybody can trade options. Like I think at some point you've got to let people have more control over their own finances. And that's the way the world is going. And it's just my 2 cents. Like if you put every single disclaimer you want out there, make me click 27 different warnings, or make sure you read this, or these are risky for that. Like I have no issue with all of that stuff, and then just let me make the investment I want to. Like give me a little bit more control over that account, because I feel like that's the way the world should be going. But we were just sort of talking about the dip in Fannie, and I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to buy into my TFSA. Beginning of the year, you're able to contribute some things. I wanted to put some stuff in there. But we can't. But we're going to get a new government, and maybe they will change that. I have no idea. So just very quickly here.
Be nice.
Nvidia 130, like yesterday's high, Friday's close? Yes, Friday's close was at $136. So if it gets to 136, I'm not looking revert, but I am looking to cover in front of 136. So it's a V-shaped recovery. The V ends at $136. Would make a lot of sense here on NVDA. What are you doing, Palantir? Oh my goodness. Why is Palantir not? So I tried off the 68 level.
But maybe it's not.
I'm like, I tried it here the first bounce off VWAP. And since then, I expected to look back and be like, yeah, there's going to be another one where I get in, does the wick under VWAP. I get in on the break of the prior high, put my stop underneath. I'm like, and then that one I should have held on to. No, actually, it's still kind of not good. It's a bit weird here on Palantir. I'd watch this if the futures roll over, but I got the eyeballs on Mara now. I sort of said before, like Mara is usually the place. If we fail on Bitcoin, if we pull back on BTC, then it's Mara that I want to short. So go back to the well. It was good for me yesterday. Fail breakout of the high, and it's got a bit of a flat bottom break in here just underneath the 1820. And what was 1820 yesterday? It was where we shorted in front of. And today, it's barely holding on to this line at the same 1820 level. That's going to lead me to look for the short breaking down on Mara here. So we'll see what happens on Mara. And for someone just said in the chat, where's the stop on QBTS? Stop should always, well, my stops are almost always obvious, so I don't think they're usually rocket science. Opening range bottom. Not this wick, because I don't care about the wicks at 930 to 935. I care about the consolidation level. So if we can't hold on to this $5.70 level, then I'm out of the trade. It's about a couple of cents underneath it. I don't like even dollar stops. So it's either at, you can guess, it's either at 67 or 60 or 68, but not at 69.
Yeah. It's like when I was like getting all cute there with Tesla, and it was like, oh, I'm gonna wait for 420. And again, we could have just got out right there at 418 and change. Maybe we should have, but that's okay. That's why we make decisions and we figure out the consequences of said decisions, right? And that would have been one of them there, having to wait for this pullback. But you know what, man? No Tesla, no cry, because we got props up right now with over 60 handles now in the money on the futures. This was one of the best trades. One of the best decisions I had made was going over to the futures not too long ago, and it's really made a big difference in my own trading and sort of being able to top off on some of this, because we often get people watch our trades, and I'm always watching the chat as well, and I appreciate everything that people tell me, and it's like, dude, these calls have been great on the futures. Some of them aren't, right? But, generally speaking, if we're going to watch the futures and try to make equity calls on that, why not just go into TQQ? And I think what got me away from it is the fact that it's a different trade, right? Like if you're going to look here at NQ, so here's like what our NQ looks like, H25. So this is what a level 2 looks like for the futures. It's a completely different fee structure here at Real Trading. It's a completely different bid ask. They're different keys. They're different stop orders. Basically, it's different. So as soon as I was able to chart and look at the TQs and say to myself, we could just trade this just like an equity and don't even worry about anything else. So we went over to there. It's triple the move. So you got to watch out for that. I do not think it's a great long-term investment. We've talked about that a couple times here on the show, of course. You don't want to hold levered products because you have the time degradation based on options.
Yeah, you don't want the decay.
So yeah, time decay. Yeah, so you got to watch out for that one. But anyways, good trade there on the TQs as we start to go downside. Hey man, we're almost $1 right now in the money on the futures. So I mean that's. Here we go. We take some 05s out there. So, yeah, man, the trading just continues on this side. Wow, we just got some out at 05. We are now on this trade. We have 5% left. So we just bled it out right there. It's 11 o'clock, 5% left on that one. Tesla's trying to go. Rigetti's pulling back a little bit. And our SoFi trade comes out at $15. So today, Nvidia, Rigetti, SoFi, TQQs, and Tesla. And we have our best day of the month. So join us again.
Yeah, great look there. I did jump out on the retake of 135 on Nvidia. It was a bit of a trend break.
135.
The order back in. No, it over-undered that level.
Right, I see it. Yeah.
So yeah, there it goes. Now, obviously, Nvidia early on did a big-time bottom tail candle, waited for it to confirm on the 15-minute. I think it still has a chance to go, obviously, but we'll look for the next available dip. It's room to 136 on Nvidia. It's just distinctly different from some of these other chip names, so you got to put it into its own bucket. Like in AMD might be up 2%, which is the same as Nvidia, but AMD is not breaking highs right now. AMD is relatively weak. So make sure that you're trading strong stocks. It's a simple thing to say. Strong stocks, try to be looking long. Weak stocks, to me, Mara is relatively weak compared to some of the other crypto names. That's why I'm back into that short, but yeah, just be very, very careful. This is the kind of day when you're extended to 2% already that any pullbacks can be nasty. And if a stock is not a strong stock, you should not be just sitting on the bit of it because the rest of the market's going up. Let's get on over. I forget what the lesson is already, but we've got the professor, we've got Joseph, and you guys are going to get a great lesson either way.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options, and I'm Sharif. And we gotta wait, because YouTube likes to take their sweet you-know-what time before they weasel everybody on over. So we're gonna wait for the chat to come on over from the other stream. Shout out to Mateus,